Okay, there we go. Okay.
So under control.
Seriously, I was like, I pressed the live and then countdown, and then I was like, why isn't it showing that I'm live? Then I had to press live again.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
It's going very well.
Which, just on a side point, you probably want to delete the other one.
Yes, I will do.
Oh, wait, are you?
It should be live.
It is live. You are live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's just my computer being slow, apparently.
No, I think it's just the top.
There we go.
Perfect.
Right.
There we go.
Perfect. Right. So we'll kind of go around, like I said before. We'll start from Luna and then work our way, like snaking down. So Luna, if you want to tell everyone about you and your channel.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lunachia. Luna for short. My real name, as most people know, is Elin. But English speakers, they're not very good at pronouncing it. My channel.
I mean, it's Noah. He's not good at pronouncing anything.
Well, that's yeah. Anyway, my channel is called the Cottage Goth Library, which I find very fitting for my aesthetic in life. Sort of. I'm an old goth. I'm not supposed to say I'm a goth, but I'm an old goth. And I mainly talk about books, but I do also do some gaming, live stream gaming. I played a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 today. I'm going to do some Baldur's Gate 3 tomorrow as well. And I am going to... Hi, Jenny! I'm going to India.
He's dead.
What?
It's not meant to come out of your nose, Noah. Just so you know.
What? I'm very confused. Anyway, I'm going to India in less than 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and then I'm planning on vlogging from India. So
You plan on vlogging while you're there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wait, you mean... Hang on. Not live vlogging, I assume.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
That's why my brain just went, live from India. Yes.
No, not
Hey,
live, but I'll try to post some videos.
I'm very excited.
That's good. That's good. Van.
Hi, I'm Ven. I am the fellow Chaos Gremlin along with Noah. You can find me over at Ven's Corner, where I do bookish stuff when I'm not having an existential crisis. Yeah, that's it. I don't really have much else to say about mine, to be honest. I don't do self-promotion.
Channel, come on.
That's a bad question, right?
He
now.
works with a wide variety of genres. He's very in-depth with his reviews. He also sometimes uploads games. Sometimes they disappear and
Nope.
they upload them again.
Nope, they've gone again. They've gone.
There we go.
They're going back over to Twitter.
He does live readings of various genres, and some of them are very, very juicy.
No, they do not go on the channel. Just to be clear, that was a special request by you that I sent to your missus by mistake. But it's fine. It's fine. I have no plans for this month whatsoever in terms of the channel. So, barring one video.
Mm.
Yes, you
Which
do.
is already
You're going to find out what you love, and that's what you're going to start recording.
Exactly.
Oh, no. I'm going to find what I love and then read it. Past that.
And then record something about it.
Bad, I will absolutely promote you. But Elaine, if you want to tell everyone about yourself.
Aren't you going? No, Aaron next. We're going to go.
Oh, okay. Aaron, I apologize if you would like to go next, my friend. Mr. Captain Hook.
My name's Aaron. On my channel, I mainly cover, for the most part, thrillers, and essentially, if it's published between 1920 and 1990, and it's involving spies or the army, I'll read it pretty much.
I like that.
That's mostly where I cover, and also some history as well. So that's pretty much my channel.
I love it.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee. You can't see my face because reasons, but I'm relatively new to booktube. I always say book talk. I'm not on book talk, but I'm relatively new to booktube. I haven't got any. I was gonna say I don't have content on my channel. That's a lie. Dee Dee, don't lie. And it's Sunday of all the days. I do mostly at the moment reading and productivity sprints. I will be uploading videos. I actually have a review video that should have gone up at the beginning of this month, but unfortunately I've had to spend some time working on one of my properties, and so hence why I don't know if you've all noticed I haven't been live as late. But yeah, so that's me, Dee Dee. I read anything, or I should I say that's I don't know if that's true because I haven't read everything. So, but I'm very open to reading different genres. I should say I predominantly read romance, but I'm trying to get out of that. I just finished The God of the Woods today, which is out of my genre. But I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's me.
I love that. Elaine?
The book murder.
You are.
We'll just get that out of the way now. And how awesome. Look what I have, Noah. And guess what?
Oh, the tools of murder.
So, my channel is Cobalt Dragon. I mainly do books, even though it was almost 2 years on YouTube before I found other booktubers, and it's been amazing ever since then. Made connections, met Mr. Venn. Oh, it's like the Brady Bunch. Met Venn through Kat, through Venn. I met Noah, and then we met Luna, and it's just been an amazing spread. In terms of my channel, I can't say I read everything, but I read a wide range of genres, anything from astronomy, astrology, fiction, nonfiction. I have discovered through booktube events there are some things, hey Richie, some things I will not read, as in westerns. Sorry, Dee Dee. Romance. I don't read romance, but if
That's
it's
fine.
horror and there's a story, and I have issues with reading about animals in books, so I tend to be very selective with my Stephen King reads. And what else? Oh, and I have my crazy cats, 3 now. We used to have 6. And I do my yarding videos, so you can watch me, unlike Fen, putter around and do my gardening.
Gardening is for the
Kind of-
people I pay to do it.
Yeah,
Love that.
well, me, I save my money for the thrift store haul, so I do my own yard work. And that's my happy time. I love being out with the birds. We have, even though I live in a city, we have skunks, we have groundhogs, we have squirrels, I have 20 species of birds, we have chipmunks, we have a feral cat colony outside. My kids stay inside. One of them used to be from the feral colony, and we adopted him. And yeah, I think that's enough babbling for now. That's
Okay.
me.
Witchy, would you like to introduce yourself and your channel and stuff?
Oh, sure. I feel like I have no idea what's happening right now.
You're all good.
Yeah, I'm Witchy. My channel is Witchy Reads, and I guess I primarily read fiction. I kind of go all over the place. My videos are primarily essay style, where I talk about tropes and also do book reviews.
I cannot wait to hear your full thoughts on Akatar, because I've been watching with fascination your tweeting.
Yes.
So I think a bit like, here's the thing. It's very mid. It's not getting a super high rating.
Yeah.
It's a good time while you read it, though, isn't
But I had the best time reading that book. It was so fun. It was so funny.
It's a perfect popcorn book. That's how I described it. It's a popcorn read.
It's very mid. It's very mid. Although I will say, I feel like, I guess people, when they talk about that series as a whole, is like where they bring up like the spicy factor of it. Because I read this and I'm like, and like the scenes in the first book, I'm like, that was nothing. I'm like, what
Yeah, he literally,
about?
Toyota Corolla just literally grabs her, dry humps her, then walks away.
Yeah, I was like,
And it's like,
okay, cool.
okay.
I'm like, whatever floats your boat, but this wasn't what I was expecting based on like the hype that was surrounding it. But I guess like in later books it gets more.
It's supposed to get really good in later books. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. But like I also too, like my big thing, I think why I enjoyed it so much was because when I first started reading it, I clocked immediately what myth it was based off of. And apparently a lot of people don't realize that it is based off of a myth. So like, and it's one of my favorite myths. So that's why I was like, oh, I'm down for this. And then also what they set up for the next book is based off of a myth. It has to be based on what she set up in the first book. It has to be based on Hades and Persephone. Flat out, that's what it's going to be because she made that deal with Rysand.
That's true. I didn't even clock that.
And he's the High Lord of the Night Court. So like he's Hades, and she has to go spend time every so often at
You're
the
right.
Night Court.
Crap.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, like I'm down for this. Like if we're doing like retellings of myths, like I'm fully here, like for that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Wow. Okay, I didn't even know.
Yeah. So what clocked it for me was that it was the whole. I mean, I get people probably picked up like the Beauty and the Beast aspect of it.
I did.
But like that's not what it is. It's purely the Cupid and Psyche myth is what it is, and it's basically you can tell what it is because he has to wear the mask. She can't see his face. That's part of that myth. And the it's the whole thing where like he's cursed and made a deal, and he gets taken by the other woman, and then she has to like go and rescue him. That's all part of that myth. Like that's, and I will say the thing that SJM changed that I actually liked was that they made it where it was like the 3 trials. I thought that made it more interesting because in the myth it's not as exciting, but like yeah, I will say that. So.
I love that. Absolutely love that. So we have a question from Rishikesh saying, which one are you guys looking forward to read next month?
I have got 2 new releases.
Yeah.
One of them fits in with spooky season. It's the follow-up to... God, here we go. I'm going to get the name of it wrong now. It's not the Changeling. I always get it wrong. It's the A.M. Shine... The Watchers. The follow-up to The Watchers by A.M. Shine. So it's called, I think, Stay in the Light. It's out in about a week's time. Ooh. So I'm looking forward to that because I really, really like The Watchers. It's a bit slow, but it's digs into a bit of Fae folklore, especially around Ireland, stuff like that. And I've read... It's 2 books so far because I read that and I read
The Creeper.
What's the one called? The Creeper.
The Creeper.
And I like both of them quite a bit. They're my sort of horror. The other one is a queer retelling of a Chinese folktale called The Legend of White Snake by Shirley, which they wrote Fake Dates and Mooncakes, which I absolutely adored last year. I don't dive into Eastern myth enough. So I'm very excited. That's out on the 17th. They're probably the 2 that I'm most looking forward to in the next.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna beat you for slapping that mic.
Hey.
You.
What?
Hit the mic.
Because you've got a pen near me. That's what it is.
What about anyone else? What is everyone else looking forward to
I've
read?
got no plans. I'm a feelsy kind of reader. I'm definitely a mood reader, but I'm supposed to be taking part in. Look at me saying this, Black Halloween, but I haven't watched the announcement video yet, so I haven't planned anything because I know Jaleesa and Kida are taking part, and I was like, oh, what's that about? I want to do that too because apparently I can't read a book unless it's part of a readathon nowadays.
It's because we just want to be involved with things with other people, so we can all just kind of garble a goop over it.
True. But I have no idea what I've got planned. I feel like I'm really bad in terms of like a book creator because I don't plan ahead like that. I used to do TBRs when I did buddy reads with my neighbors because I'd have to plan it ahead for the next month, so I knew what I was reading in regards to that. But
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. So, oh, actually, that's a lie. I am part of a book. Look at me again. I'm lying, and it's a sign. It's a sign. So I will be reading. We used to live here. Is that right? We used to live
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard of that.
that's part of a book club that I'm a part of. So I know that I've got that for next month.
That's good.
That rings a
Yeah.
bell. Why does that ring a bell?
It's by who is it by? It's we used to Marcus Cleaver.
I'm sure that's on one of my lists. I have many lists.
Yeah.
Apparently
Many
it's
lists.
horror. I didn't know that until today.
I love a bit of horror.
So thriller horror. So yeah.
I would say for me, the big thing that I'm looking forward to reading, which I think I just got notification from my library that they have it, is We Kept Her in the Cellar, which is a Cinderella horror retelling.
Oh.
That's another one that's on my list.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna read that next month for sure.
I like that.
And then anything else that comes up, but like that's
I mean-
I think that for sure I'm planning on reading that.
Bah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a long list for the month, but I never stick to them.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, it's always
Yeah.
better for me. I pick up books in the moment, and it's never good for me to be like, oh, I'm going to read this, because then ultimately things get in the way. As Vin knows, because I've said I would read ACOTAR forever, and then I finally got to it. So like it's hard for me to sit there and like, oh, for sure I'm going to read this, because then ultimately things come up and then it gets pushed back. But because I want to read stuff for spooky season, like I'm actively going to try and read We Kept Her in the Cellar. So
Yeah, no, you were talking about that last time. I really like the idea of that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds scary. And according to the description, it's if you are a fan of T. Kingfisher, which I have not read, and then also Naomi Novik. So those two.
Love
Like-
T. Kingfisher.
I like Kingfisher quite a bit,
Yeah.
gotta say.
What about you, Lena and Luna?
I have my spooky, scary skeleton Halloween readathon. That's through Nicole's Bookish Nook.
Yeah.
Basket all set up and ready to go. And I totally get what everyone's saying. I'm a mood reader, so trying to do this is kind of hard. And
It
I
can
won't
be, yeah.
always stick out of the basket through October. It'll be like, no, I want to read one of my other books. My 4 tubes of TBR books that have been waiting, some for decades. But one, this one I definitely want to get to. It's Anatomy of a Haunting.
Ooh.
It's by Lee Strong. And I want to read this one because it's based on a true story. It'll be a reread, but it isn't a scare the pants off you ghost story. It's a scare the pants off you. This crap happened.
Yeah.
And it's an excellent read. And I love that the author did not tell specifically where in Idaho this took place. And to keep the privacy of the woman that he interviewed and the events that had happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think they put these weirdo creatures on the front to sell the book because it's scary and there's dark stuff, but it's not satanic stuff.
Yeah.
Like the cover implies. And then this one is Star Trek on the Brain, Alien Minds, Human Minds. This is why I love my thrift store, because this was another find there along with Anatomy. This is written by two psychologists explaining psychology using Star Trek terms. And
Ooh.
yes, I'm that nerd who loves Star Trek and Star Wars. I don't.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And my background's psychology, so I'm fascinated to read how they mesh these two together and thinking, I wish I had this in college. It would have made some of those boring psych classes a lot more interesting. So those are kind of my October plans, but what I actually read could be very different.
Mm.
Luna?
I'm going to attempt doing Gothtober again. It'll be my 3rd year doing Gothtober. It's hosted by, among others, Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Casta. Can't say the word. Just to put it out there, English is not my native language, so it doesn't always go very
Me
well.
either.
Same.
I don't even live in a country where they speak English, so I don't. Well, I do speak it daily because my partner is an English speaker, but when I'm at work, I hardly ever speak English. I speak Norwegian, which is very different from English. So Olivia's I know how to spell it. Kastapursli. Katastrofe in Norwegian, so it's fairly similar in Norwegian. But so I got some prompts. I posted my video from playing the prompt game for the readathon today on my channel.
Yeah.
And I got some prompts. We'll see how well it goes. I will be traveling for a chunk of October, so I'll just have to see what. I haven't really decided on whether to bring my tablet, my e-reader to India or not, or if I should just bring physical books. I don't know. So we'll see. But I think I'll start with Murder Bots by Martha Wells, since I got it last year and I got it signed by the author.
It's very good as well.
To me,
Very.
yeah. And speaking of T. Kingfisher, she's coming to NorCon 31 next year, just saying.
Nice.
And I'm on the committee for the con, so.
I want to go.
You can come. It's not that far. It's just a flight from Manchester.
Oh yeah, just a single fly. Let me just go whip out money for a passport first.
You need a passport.
I do. King of Books has a question saying, have any of you read Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond?
Did Aaron tell her plans?
No.
Aaron,
I
did you
think-
tell us our plans or your plans?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we'll go through it all. We'll get there.
I'll plan to read quite a lot, but there's 2 books in particular I'm interested in reading because I'm doing a project.
Yeah.
Water project, which is first is When the Kissing Had to Stop by Constantine Fitzgibbon, and then the other one, which is one I have read before, is A Very British Coup by Chris Mullin, and they're both about one that was written in 1960, that was written in 1982, I think. And
Yeah.
they're both about left-wing governments coming to power in Britain, but this one is where it's a pro-Soviet one written by an anti-communist, and this one is a left-wing, was actually a Labour MP at the time, writing about it in a positive manner. And I'm going to read them and then do a compare and contrast, see what they're like. I'm fascinated by the Cold War, and this was very much inspired by the alleged plots against Harold Wilson in the 60s and 70s, and this is sort of, I haven't read this yet, but I'd imagine that's got a lot of the sort of concerns in the late 50s and 60s about the Cold War. So it's going to be interesting to read them and see what they're like.
Oh. I like that.
That's pretty much it.
We have another question. Says, anyone read Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes?
I have
Not-
just picked that up.
So, yeah, I was
because
meant
it
to
was
read.
cheap.
Oh God, I am really,
I
really
like
bad
your
at remembering
reasoning.
authors.
I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
I think I've read it. If it's the same book. The thing is that there's a lot of times, as a librarian, I can affirm that books a lot of the times have the same name.
Mm.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of books that have games in the title as well.
Or
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
or
But yes,
Bones,
I've
that's
read
another
it.
one.
I've read it. I read it in 2020, January 2022. So it's a while.
Pluses.
I think it's part of a series, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is.
If I remember correctly.
I just
Yeah.
read the first book.
It's a pretty cover, which is why I bought it.
Mm.
Which sounds about right for me, really, doesn't it?
It is. You do cover by quite often these days.
I do.
Oh, man.
Nothing wrong
do.
with cover buys. Nothing wrong with
true.
cover buys.
No. Just we were talking about organisation right earlier.
Oh no.
So, right. So no one's seen my notes before. These were my notes for September. All the ones that
Wow.
haven't been crossed through is what I have not read,
Whoa.
and I've added more to it. So it's all
Yeah.
switched in and out.
I'm impressed
So-
by people who can read that much in a month because I could not.
I couldn't.
I have not read anywhere near that much. I do like a long list and then try and hit certain ones. This month I wrote a long list and then ignored the long list and hit other things. So it's just
How many's
been all
how
over
many's
the
on your
place.
list?
Oh.
For that month was the long list was about 20,
Oh wow! Oh wow!
But-
Then
but I'll have hit. How many have I read this month? I'm just finishing off Light Lark now, which I didn't realize when I started reading it is a bit of a controversial book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I saw it for 99p and thought, oh, that'll fit this month.
What else is new?
But I'm not hating the book, but the controversy around a lot of the stuff to do with the author and some of the things that they've portrayed themselves as and things that they've said online is a bit of a mess, which is a shame because the book isn't terrible. It's actually a really interesting idea. But that was never on my ring. I've read Fourth Wing. I like Fourth Wing quite a bit. Just
I have
sorry,
as well.
just bouncing into that.
I have as well.
I feel like there are so many instances where readers are just in the trenches and you just kind of have to wing it. And then if something comes up about an author, you're just like, I didn't know. And
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
it's,
Well, there was one quite recently where there's an author that I'd read 3 of the books, a whole series, and when I was reading the last book, it came out that there was a load of stuff that they'd been doing, and then it was all evidenced, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe. But and it was a shame because they're also an indie author, and the books were really, really good. But it's like I'm not gonna read you again
yeah.
because of all this, and
But
they'd actually made some accusations against some other authors and got them dropped from subscription crates and stuff because of it, and then it swung round that actually that wasn't accurate.
Mm.
I
So-
had a similar problem with with just doing Battle of the Booktubers because when we planned everything and we gave our recommendations was like months ago, like way long time ago, like because it took a while for us to get to the point of
Yeah.
finishing everything. And
Yeah.
one of the books I recommended was Gaiman, and it was like partway through the competition that all came out, and I was like,
Oh no,
Then away from the mic.
sorry, bad habit.
Understandable. We all have it.
so
I don't have a mic. I don't.
I do.
I do need to. Witchy has caused me to buy something though.
Oh,
Well,
Witchy, what have you done?
Isle of the Gods,
oh,
which was week 1. I picked that up yesterday as well. So that's one of my purchases for that. I'm classing that as an October purchase, so it's fine.
Oh, are you?
Just chime in with the gaming and see, that's a whole other conversation, isn't it? When do you separate the art from the artist and their action? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and I mean, I don't follow the stuff with gaming. I've seen a few videos. I know their stuff and Rowlings and so many others.
Yeah.
Then I think of that big boondoggle with Johnny Depp, who, by the way, was innocent, but Amber
Mhm.
Heard, on the other hand, was still given millions of dollars to do a movie and more with Disney Plus. But the thing is, where do you separate the individual from the art.
Yeah.
So my
Go
stance
ahead.
on that is that once the artist is dead, then you can feel comfortable purchasing their stuff. I'm sorry, that's just flat out. That's what it is. Because then they're not actively using the money that you've put towards the thing. And if you want to buy something with the artist still alive, used, because then the money does not go to the money has already gone to them. You are not actively giving it to them in that moment. So if you really want to buy something from someone that's problematic, if you want to, if you're wanting to look past that, I suppose, like, then you would buy used. Because, like, I mean, here I'm not innocent of that, because years ago for my book club, they had the book that was picked was Ender's Game, and Orson has he's got controversy, and basically the person who picked the book made it clear that, like, if you're going to purchase it used.
Right. Yeah.
So
See,
Use
my
the library.
See, my thing
use the
is,
library. Yeah, exactly.
my thing is obviously I read Lovecraft, and obviously back in the day he was racist, homophobic, extremely bigoted, and all that jazz. And towards the end of his life, he did actually lose that. But I really enjoy his work. I separate easily the artist from his work. I love you, Elaine. But I've only just recently, because of my girlfriend, don't do that to me. I've just recently gotten into Harry Potter, and a lot of people are very hateful at J.K. Rowling, but in Harry Potter, she keeps her opinions separate, and I'm okay with that. So I'm okay reading the books and stuff like that. Like, I can easily separate it and stuff like that. And I have the Hogwarts Legacy game. I want to be a wizard, goddammit. But I understand why people struggle.
See, I think the issue is my bringing up with the money thing, is that at least for very much with her, is that she is actively using her money to harm that community.
Yeah.
So that's where it's, hard.
Yeah.
I'm reading Harry Potter at the moment. Well, I say that. I started this year. I haven't watched any of the movies. I haven't read any of the books. Well, I read the first book a few months ago, but I'm doing that through Kindle Unlimited and the library for the audio. So that's how I'm doing it. And the reason, because somebody had asked why I had chosen to read art, given with all of the controversy, and I was like, if I'm being honest, I don't know enough of it for me to be like, I understand why people. I mean, I've seen enough to say, okay, I get why people are upset, but I don't know enough about it in detail for me to have an opinion either way, for me to be like, this is the stance that I'm taking. But for me to feel comfortable in order to read them, because I feel like they're part of, I don't want to say culture, but they have, people drop lines from the story and from the series so often that if you're not aware of the stories, it can go over your head. And I don't like being that person in the room that, like, a cultural reference is made and I'm like, where did that come from? What does that mean? And so for that aspect, that's one of the reasons why I chose to read it. But I do get it. It's like recently there's a narrator who is one of my favorite narrators, who's part of who's now in some mess, and I'm like, I'm trying to find out information about what exactly it is, because I'm like, this is somebody who I really, really do like, and if it's out there, I want to know enough about it for me to take a stance. And I feel like that's where it is in regards to, like, I mean, at least for me, in terms of separating the art from the artist, is if I don't know enough about it, it would be unfair to either side for me to take a stance, But I understand why people, I just don't like it when I would say this. I don't like it when people make people feel bad for the choices that they make. If they choose to continue to support an individual and
Yeah.
then you're made to feel bad because you supported them, even if you don't necessarily agree
Yeah.
with
I
what
mean,
that-
like, I'm transgender, so like
yeah,
I'm reading like J.K. Rowling and stuff and Lovecraft and stuff like that. I don't know what else to say about that. Like, everyone has their own opinions, their own things they support and don't support and stuff like that, and that's absolutely fine. But you also need to be able to see it from, like, get it. Like, I see where you're coming from 100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
It just feels really sad that sometimes it feels like you've got to do research before you read and enjoy something.
Mm,
It's
Yeah.
a bit of a sad
Yeah.
indictment in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just because you don't want to necessarily support people who are actively problematic. Let's
Yes.
word it like that. You
Yes.
definitely don't want you
Exactly.
don't want to give them the resources. But on
Yeah.
saying that, certain things, and Harry Potter is in a way a good example, is especially here in the UK, probably more so in the US, it has such a cultural zeitgeist.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
really does, that it kind of is important in a bizarre way to have at least touched on it.
Yeah.
I'm bizarre. I started with book 4 years ago. I've never read the first 3 because, of course, I haven't, because it's me.
Oh.
But
What a wild book to start. in that series.
honestly, I watched the first 3 films and then picked up the book and then read the books. This is how I do things. It's bizarre. But
Yeah.
then I started to read all the other issues. It's like, well, I know how it ends now, and I'm never going to go back. I'm never going to reread it. So do I need to? But it's the series I've got is oh god, what's the name? David and Lee Eddings, which I only found out last year that they'd they've been convicted of child abuse, which I didn't know about. And for a long time, I'd class these as some of my favorite books in fantasy, the ones that I read very early on. It's like, I was thinking of going back and reread them, and I was just doing a bit of research. It's like, maybe not. Maybe don't go back near them. And some of those are the books that got me into fantasy at the first place. But
I think-
sometimes you stumble across things, don't you?
Yeah.
Can I just make a
with
comment?
J.K.
Sorry.
Rowling, though, she's like active. I feel like she is actively hurting. Like,
Mm.
that's the
Yeah.
problem with her. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Like,
Don't
I
apologize
follow-
at all.
I follow
Yeah.
that pretty closely, and my whole thing is like her excuse is that she says she helps women, and I just want to point out too, like, if that was her case, like if she wants to help what she considers real women, like,
Yeah.
I want to point out that she did absolutely nothing to help Daniel Radcliffe's girlfriend when she was pregnant, and people were claiming that she was trans. So.
I did not know any of that.
It was specifically because the people who believe like she does, it's all about how pretty you look. That is literally her baseline for it. I'm sorry, but that is just the case. Like,
Do not apologize.
and it makes me upset because, like, if you're holding it up to a certain standard of beauty, I personally don't feel like I even reach that certain standard of beauty. So it's one of those things where, like, it comes back to the whole question. That's what you consider a woman, and it's like, well, that's all subjective. I feel, in terms of how someone views themselves.
I agree.
And so, like, it's I again, like I said, like, I'm not innocent in terms of like I said, like, I've read Ender's Game, and I did it very much after certain things have been said by that author. So, but I don't know, like with the fact that Elon Musk has come out and told J.K. Rowling that she needs to calm down, that says a lot.
Yeah.
So,
That does say a lot.
like, literally his stance was like, get another hobby. Like, you need to do something else because that's all you talk about. Like,
That's true. It's just, it comes to a point where it's just like, let it go. Be Elsa.
yeah. And I mean, I think I'm in a weird place with her too, because I've never considered J.K. Like, I was a huge Potterhead. I grew up with those books, but I was never a fan of her. And then I think what sealed the deal for me in not liking her was when, after the books were released, she did the retcon of making Dumbledore gay. I'm sorry, I fully do not believe that. I fully do not believe that.
What?
That is not in the book. That was retconned after the books had all been published. She had came out and said that he was a gay character. And so it's like, okay, I didn't believe that. But then when they made the what do you call it, the magical beasts, the finding beast,
Oh yeah, the Fantastical Beast thing.
Fantastical Beasts, yeah, those movies. Okay, it's like, cool. If you truly believe that, here's your chance. Make that character gay as fuck. Do it. I like, and she didn't. She didn't. And I'm like, no, like, you're lying. That character was never gay. You did that because you wanted to be a part, like, you wanted the audience for that community.
Yeah.
And I mean, to her, I mean, I guess, like, it worked, but it didn't work on me. I didn't believe that. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And so, like, at that point, I was like, I'm taking everything you say with a grain of salt.
Yeah, fair.
See, I like her, and I very much agree with Witchy and Luna. Like, thrift store, library, you know, do your research. You have to decide and do what's right for you. I ended up reading Harry Potter because I was working in elementary school and all the kids were reading it. And to have conversations, I had to read the books. It wasn't that they were assigned to them in school. And as much as I dislike J.K. Rowling, and to be honest, long before any of this other stuff started, I don't buy the I'm a poor single mother, yeah, found a script. Different things I've come across. She had family with a crap ton of money. She wasn't living on the street in a cardboard box, but be that as it may, she has gone above and beyond despicable since then. But you can't really deny that it got kids, and I worked with resistant readers, behaviors, and a crap ton of bad home lives who could relate
Yeah.
to Harry in a lot of ways. And that's why I say it's a very complex issue, right? And it
Yeah.
depends on what they're accused of. Witchy, you're right. What do they do with the money that they're getting? Do they donate it to other things, which some of the people who have been accused of different things have, you know, decided to try and make amends and not be a douche till death do they part this life. And so it's complex, right? Because it isn't just this person has done something dirty, vile, horrific. It's what was it and what do they do when everything comes out in the wash? And what is the result of their work? Eddings, I had read. I didn't know about that. And I almost picked up one of his books at the thrift store. I did just pick up a Gaiman because I never heard of him until all this brouhaha started. So I had no idea about his books, but I did get it from the thrift store. And yeah, it isn't an easy issue at all. There's so many sides, and I just worry when things go crazy all over social media. Some people do a knee-jerk reaction, but then you're right. Isn't it sad that you have to do some of your own research to figure out, is this all crap? Is it legit? Are they going to be convicted? Do you wait till they're convicted to start it's a big bugaboo, right? Especially now in the world where nothing's private anymore. And it isn't, and I know you guys don't believe me, as in Ven and Noah. Yes, I am 60. So I've seen this play out with more actors, authors, musicians. Sometimes, yeah, they're guilty as can be. And sometimes it was just someone disliked them, wanted to take them down, made false accusations, and it's a whole bugaboo and so much more complex. And Elon Musk, that guy just freaks me out, man.
He's the robot.
He's a robot. Canon,
He's a what?
Canon, he is a robot.
He's a robot.
A robot.
That is.
Can I just have a comment on something Didi said? About cultural references or like pop culture references.
Yeah.
Living with an Irish person. So I classify everybody who lives in a country that speaks English as Anglo. There's a lot of Anglo culture, and there's a lot of Anglo pop culture, and there's a lot of references from Anglo pop culture I don't take because I didn't grow up with it. So though I understand understand the Harry Potter thing, that references, it's not a big thing here. So
Yeah.
I kind of I read Harry Potter when they came out, but I wouldn't reread them. I think they're horribly outdated.
Mm.
Yeah.
And if kind of when I look at them now, then the books themselves are not unproblematic.
Hmm.
So even
Mhm.
even if you like don't if you separate the author and the works,
Mm.
it's still problematic
Yeah.
because the books are problematic.
I mean, if you want Harry Potter references that I personally think are better than the book and like are actually like fun and people will be like, haha, if you have those references, watch Star Kid musicals. Watch Harry
I
Potter
love
the
Star Kid.
musical.
Have you seen the new one?
I haven't.
No, it looks so good.
Yeah.
The what?
Star Kid musical.
Star Kid musical. They did the Harry Potter
that.
musical, a very
Yep.
Harry Potter musical. They did 3 musicals about Harry Potter covering all the books plus and quite honestly, it is hilarious. It is so good. It is like if you want unproblematic Harry Potter content, fully recommend them.
I think when I said about the referencing, I guess it's not. I mean, we're talking about problematic authors, and J.K. is one of them. And I think that was just an example that I'm giving. I agree with what you're saying, Richie, in regards to, you know, the support you give, it does matter. But like we said, that knee-jerk initial, once you hear something about somebody, straight away being like, okay, I'm not supporting them anymore. I think that's where the problem lies, and it, we said it is a problem when you have to start researching the author or the artist that you support. Like, we're readers. That's not what I go into, to do with a book. I go into a book to escape whatever reality that I'm in that moment. But there is, I think, with the way social media is at the moment, it can take an issue and it can make it way bigger, and not to diminish any kind of thing, but it can make it bigger than what it was initially, because it ends up, like.
Well, we're seeing something similar in visual media, aren't we, now, with older TV shows potentially now coming with content warnings.
Yeah.
And it's a similar sort of thing, that not to excuse bad behaviour and bad actors, because absolutely not doing that. But sometimes a work reflects the period that they're written in a little bit as well.
Right.
And values move on and adapt and hopefully get better over time as we evolve as societies.
Yeah.
Which is something else to bear in mind. And looking at, there's so many things you can read now where you look at it and go, that doesn't stand up very well anymore. And then that flips into like a censorship issue as well, because there's plenty of people who talk about going back and not necessarily censoring, but altering the text to make them more relevant to now. And that comes, especially as we're going into a digital period as well now, rather than a physical one. Then there's some questions there about intent of work that I think doesn't get asked very often either, as well. Especially with, like, if Kindle books now, they can update them like that without you knowing. It makes me think of Fahrenheit 451. The actual publisher rewrote parts of the book without the author's knowledge and released it, and then took the main book off sale initially without permission. And there's an argument for, regardless of how problematic something potentially is, keeping it there for posterity for the future and still having the updated versions. That's fine, but not losing sight of where it actually came from. Because if you take away that sort of initial thing, you kind of lose the learnings from it, because you can't look and go, how far have we come? A little bit, and that's something that's worth bearing in mind.
I'm not a huge Disney supporter, but I will say that's the one thing Disney has done correctly, and that they have not changed anything of their old films that have problematic content. They've just put a notice at the beginning of them saying, hey, we are aware that there's problematic stuff and that, it was that time. And, we do not, endorse that going forward kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. That's all it is. Yeah. And I feel like that's the same in terms of like, you're saying you have to research books. I fully do not believe you have to do the research if you don't want to. If you're a reader, like you're saying, that's not what we're here for. We're here to read. But if you have read a book, you have read an author and it comes out later, it's not a big deal, I think, to just acknowledge like, hey, yeah, I am aware that this is problematic. I read that book, and again, that's, I'm one human. I am a human, and humans make mistakes, and it's like, and that's such a small mistake in terms of like, oh, you read a book that you happen to not know that an author did something bad. Like, I feel like, and yeah, but I think there are different levels, right? Like, so like you're saying, like, with Gaiman, like when it first broke that something like stuff had come out, I was like on the fence about like, I was like, okay, we're going to pause until I know more. And then
exactly.
But I think the big difference with J.K. Rowling is that the time to be like, oh, pause, we need to know more was back in like 2019.
Yeah.
Because since about 2019, 2020 is when she kind of went off there. I feel like being confined for COVID really messed her up because she had nothing else going on. as like a lot of us did. And she just took the weird route in terms of like posting a lot. And so, someone needed to take Twitter from her like so bad. I don't know who was in charge of like monitoring her, but someone needed to be like, girl, calm. Like it's.
Hello, Jaleesa.
Hello, Jaleesa.
I need to know. I need to know how many tabs. This is tab check. We do this every time. I have 3 and it's stressing me out right now. So
210.
Oh gosh.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's okay. I'll close a couple of them later.
A couple.
A whole 2.
That makes a difference.
We'll go to 208. That's fine.
That's not the worst it's ever been, to be fair. So,
No.
how you doing?
I've had more.
We love you, Jaleesa.
We do.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, I've been a big Neil Gaiman fan, and since the 90s, so I have I have quite a few Neil Gaiman books, but of course, all of them were bought before I knew anything.
Yeah.
And I feel a little heartbroken, to be honest with you.
Of course.
Yeah.
So do I. I have books of his on my shelf too. I own my Harry Potter books. So granted, I don't keep those on my bookshelf anymore, but I still own them. And I fully like. Everyone was saying like, oh, you have to get rid of your Harry Potter stuff. I am of the opinion that that's not fair. I didn't purchase that thinking that, like, knowing that this was going to happen down the line. And I have sentimental things to those items that have nothing to do with her. So like, I'm not going to get rid of them. Now I'm not going to prominently display those books on my shelf anymore. I've put them away. They're away. But like, like you're not like, we don't expect readers to have like, being able to predict the future of like what people are going to do.
Right.
So
True.
Is it Warner Bros. That is talking about buying up the merchandise rights so that
it was,
she will not get any more money from it?
Yeah, it was. The trouble is that it's Warner Brothers, who, as a company, do not have the best of the best and most humane business practices. Let's word it like that.
I didn't know that.
Oh no. I mean, I look at a lot of it through video games, and they have a video game arm. But if you then start wandering away from it, there's some mass media companies are surprisingly guilty of a lot of things. So let's put it that way. Warner Brothers is, at least in the gaming arm, I don't know as much about the TV arm and film. I suspect it's the same. Video game arm, they are quite possibly the worst video game publisher.
I have the same question, Ginger Bibliophile.
What did Warner Brothers do?
Well, you can start with the basics of things like...
Oh, here we go.
Right, so you have the fact they cover up sexual assault in the workplace. That's one. That's not particularly unusual on Ubisoft.
I was like, that's like, name a company that doesn't, and I will be
shocked.
Well, the thing is, it's all stuff that we
Exactly
know.
what you-
We know a lot of big companies do, but it's the thing that winds me up at the moment is when you have these big companies. This is getting on a tangent, so I'll retract from this in a minute. Is where they lay off a load of people for business reasons, just after saying record profits.
Mhm.
Warner Brothers, horrifically bad for that, one of the worst. Also for copywriting certain things which shouldn't be copyrightable, especially like systems for things which are legally not copyrightable, and they have managed to lobby to get copyright. But Blizzard is another one. Blizzard is horrendous. Blizzard's now owned by Microsoft, however, which is only slightly better because Microsoft will let them unionize. And they actually have, on a side point. Union busting, that's another popular one, especially in US companies. That's a popular one. There's a whole litany. If you want rants about video game publishers more specifically, James Stephanie Sterling on the Jimquisition is very anti-company in a lot of ways. And does a lot of sort of deep dives into some of the difficult things that the industry has done multiple times. The popular one tends to be buying loads of companies and then laying everybody off after they've laid them for cost-cutting measures.
Like Amazon?
Worse. Amazon is nowhere near as bad. Also, crunch and unfair working conditions. And there's a book that came out about a year ago. It's written by Laura Kate Dale, who's a video game journalist. It's called Who Hunts the Whale? And I was reading it, and because I've done a lot of it, it's a fictional book. Let's put it that way. And it covers somebody joining a video game company as like a junior role and moving upwards. And you're reading through it, it's like, where's the blurring line between the absurdity of this and if it's real or not? And I struggle to see it even at the most absurd moments because of actual things that I've read and seen evidence of in the industries. And it's like, why do we allow this? Like, why?
So the one thing I will say is that I mean, yes, companies like are horrible, but I also feel like there are certain nuances like in that, because I have friends that technically work at Amazon, but they don't. They work at Twitch, which is a company that is owned by Amazon. And people have flat out said that working for Twitch is far different than if you were to work directly under Amazon, even though technically it is still Amazon. So like and you know, same thing. I mean, Blizzard I think is a little bit harder. I don't know as much, but I do have a friend who is like high up in Blizzard. He is one of the what do you call it? Like creators in under World of Warcraft, right? So, but like within Blizzard, if you work under certain projects or certain properties under Blizzard, it's almost like you're in a bubble for that project or for that property. And so you're not, and so like it's hard to determine like where I mean, not to forgive every part of the company, but it's like where is that rot stemming from, and like how far has it traveled through the company is kind of like where it is.
Here's the other thing, and some of the things you said, Ven, I was thinking about when I worked for the school board in my area. And some of that crap.
It's
there's some sleaze bags standing in front of rooms and things.
It's any organization.
Let me finish.
Let's the mother finish.
Our executive director of the board and his muckety-muck 6 salary buddies just went to Toronto on professional development, watched a baseball game and all this jazz, but there's no money to support the EAs, buy stuff for the kids. And then it becomes the bugaboo of, what do we do with the schools? Because those people aren't just in corporations, and there's a reason it breaks my heart to not be in schools anymore, but I don't miss that crap and having to keep my mouth shut.
I have a question because I don't really know what a school board is. I'm from another country.
Yeah, no, like no,
that's
it's I laugh because it's just something you don't think about, like not like everyone knows that. That's why I'm like, yeah, like of course, like because like things are different in different countries.
And there's things like when I watch stuff from the States and how their government runs. Up here in Canada, our government is way different. Like, don't get me wrong, we've got our pack of cuckoo cuckoo that makes the news, but it's a whole different way of making decisions and how they're going to screw us over. A school board, basically, Luna, is they oversee the decisions about what's going to be taught in the schools, and they get to decide how many schools. Currently, our morons are thinking of renaming 12 schools because of stuff centuries ago, because they're not thinking about what's happening now in 2024 and that slavery still exists. And it's going to cost $40,000 per school to rename 12 of them. That means 40,000 times $12, not going to buy supplies for kids, not paying for educational assistance to support kids, not getting what the kids need to do their learning. And yeah, these people make big bucks to make decisions about what's going to happen elementary and high school here in Canada. Is kind of the summary of it. I don't know which it would be. Are you in the States?
I am in the States, yeah.
Yeah. Would you just? I mean, you have.
Yeah, that's
the
pretty
same
much
type, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's basically just a board of people that they make the ultimate decisions, and like they make the decisions, but then you have like the administrators that dole them out in each like district
In each
basically.
school, yeah.
Yeah.
So who are on these boards? Is it like teachers or is it like random people?
I would hope. I mean, I don't think it's all teachers, but I wish it was more teachers.
It's not
I feel
all
like they know-
teachers.
Yeah, it's not all teachers. I think.
Mix and match.
Yeah, I think for like me, I can only speak for like the States. I think for me, it's a lot of more like business people in the cities that are like high up, that are like millionaires that like decide like, oh, I'm bored, so I'm gonna go join the school board and wreak havoc there. So like that's where I think I feel like when it comes to school boards, we need to have more teachers on them, and we need to have more like even like librarians or just academics in general on them, because I feel like it's a lot less of those types on those boards.
It links into like
is it state-wise or is it national-wise?
It's usually, I want to say it's here. I want to say it's district per district, and that's a lot. So like, I mean, I can only speak for like where I live. So like, I grew up in California. I grew up in Southern California, and so like where I went to school was the Anaheim Unified School District. So like that district would have its own, like I believe, board, and then that board would decide for the schools under that district what the curriculum was going to be, and then each of those schools has like administrators that then would teach, and then that would trickle down to like, and like, okay, and they would tell the teachers what to teach, and that's kind of how it works, at least from what I understand of where I am.
So it depends on which district you are in, what you learn in school.
Yep.
Yeah,
that explains a lot.
The US system is very, certainly compared to the UK system, is I can't bend my head around it because it's a lot more customizable. I wonder if that plays into the issue in the US, in particular with challenged books, a little bit as well. Which swinging it back round, because I know Elaine did a video recently about Stephen King, who has just been horribly banned.
Well, some of his books.
Well, challenged, I should say. There was some repeated offenders in there. But I know Elaine's planning on reading some Stephen King this month because of that.
Ooh.
So, what are you?
That's the thing. Yeah. What is everyone's plans for like October, and what are you planning to read?
I've read 2 Stephen King books, and I can't do anymore.
Which ones?
Nothing bad about him. I think okay.
Ones?
I've read Carrie, and I've read The Mist, and here's my thing with those is that here's my thing I think with Stephen King in general is that I think he comes up with phenomenal ideas. He is brilliant when it comes to ideas, and I feel like I almost feel like he does. I feel like this is how I would be as a writer, because I feel like he comes with these ideas and he's like, I'm gonna write the shit out of this, and he like does it, and it's so good in the beginning, and then he gets to the end, and I feel like he's like, I am bored, I want to start a new book, and then the ending just kind of falls flat. It happened in Carrie, it happened in The Mist, and he flat out has said that like the movie adaptation of The Mist has a far better ending than what he came up with in the book, and I wholeheartedly agree. So like it's weird, right? So like it's
Fun fact about Carrie, which actually was published the same year as I was born, 1974. He threw the manuscript in the bin, and then his wife picked it up.
yeah.
So it was in the bin originally.
I know MJ
The only thing needed to be
did-
in the bin was the ending. Like I think the beginning and middle part were decent, you know. So like
I know MJ did a review on because that was her first King book, and she said that it was fine by the time she got to the end of it, but it made her excited to read more King, but she could see the growing pains of a reasonably new writer at the time. I've not read any Stephen King other than, I didn't even read it, it was an audio, but Mile 81, which is quite a short story, which is the only one I've listened to. I have Pet Cemetery, which I am hoping, Cemetery. It's not spelt properly, and it confuses me, and it's a deliberate choice. And autocorrect hates it, which I want to try and read this month. I was going to try and read it a couple of months back. I'd realised that it was a doorstop, not a book.
Yes.
And left it on my shelf.
I struggled so much with it. Like, it was... The time hops between... So the movies are completely different. It's got, like, both movies, like, involved into it and all the time hops and stuff. I was like, what's going on?
You struggle with time hops a little bit.
I'm just dumb. That's really it.
You're not dumb.
It depends how it's written. Let's see, with King, so I started with Carrie in 1974. Thanks for that publishing date, Luna. And that's when I started reading King and kept going because I was 10, kept reading, loved the scare, was into the horror genre. Back then, excuse me, I could read some things about animals and not totally lose my mind. It bothers me more now. So I read him right up until Dolores Claiborne. And then I was getting into more nonfiction, ancient Egypt, other things. And I started leaving fiction. And I think that's part of when the animal thing started. And you're right, Kat. It's not so much brave as kind of remembering about King. I mean, I got through Cujo. I got through Old Yeller. I used to read Jack London. I couldn't read Jack London again, but his books, White Fang and others, are amazing. And he's, I'm pretty sure, Canadian. So yes, because rarely do they get big unless they move to the States and go to LA or something. But with King, and I agree with you, Witchy, sometimes it's like, especially with these honkers, is you go, and it's like, holy crap, that's the ending. And I hate books like that. Excuse me. I just finished Salem's Lot. Bad and I were doing that as a buddy read. And I forgot about the dog. Sorry, Ginger. Cat, glad you canceled that order. Don't trust me with King books because I cannot. It's been a while, like decades with some of them. But Salem's Lot, I think I blocked the thing with the dog because there was so much more to the story. The vampires, the old house on the hill, the author who comes back to the town, and it all, I actually, Julissa, just watched the old one with David Saul and Lance Kerwin, and it's available in the US on Prime. It is not available in Canada on Prime. It pisses me off. Everyone keeps calling us one country and confusing that. We're two countries, and when it comes to buying our books, you know that by the $4 to $5 extra we pay,
Hmm.
and with what we have available on TV, like, grr. But I did enjoy watching the remake, but it's so different than the book, and I'm not going to talk about it because Bad might still be here and she's not finished reading the novel. So,
Fair.
but yeah, with King, I mean, I never read his Gunslinger series. I think I read the first one and went, yeah, I'm out. The Stand, I enjoyed reading The Stand. I've seen the old movie. I just reread The Dead Zone with Revenant Reads. Yep, there's a dog in there, and that SOB keeps mentioning it through the whole book. It's like, no, it was horrific enough at the start, buddy. Like, what? I agree with Kat, and we were talking about this either under one of my videos or hers. That dude needs therapy. Like, between the issues with the animals. And then there's some other pattern I've noticed, and it's like, oh, it's all these people who have bad, nasty parents who should have been in therapy before they had kids, and then that's why these people all turn bad. And it's like, I worked as a caseworker for years, and I know you don't need bad parents to turn out bad. So King needs to
Yeah.
that boy needs to get therapy or something. I don't know. He's got issues.
I don't know. Maybe I was giving King a fair shake. Like for me, more so, and I didn't know this when I picked up the book, but Joe Hill, I didn't realize was King's son. I could not stand the book I read from him, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, at least I gave Stephen King 2 books. I'm not even giving you 2 because that was awful. So like,
Have you read the Mr. Mercedes books?
Which one?
Mr.
Mr.
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Mr. Mercedes.
Yep.
Mm. It's crime mystery novels rather than horror. I actually quite enjoy those. Well,
That one?
they're kind of, I think they're kind of bleeding into horror now, with Holly and the Outsider and Holly. But I absolutely love Holly. She's one of my favorite characters. She's just adorable.
Yeah, she's amazing. And I first met her in If It Bleeds. I got that through the library. It's the collection of 4 short stories.
I was gonna say, isn't she a recurring character through this,
Yeah.
like, his books?
Yep.
Yep. And Mr.
they're all connected.
Mercedes, the dog's safe. I almost put that aside and went, oh, no, you douche. You're going to do this again. I ain't reading it. And then I tried and I flipped the pages and went, all right, the dog's good. You can kill all the other people you want, man. The dog's good. We're fine.
I have seen a lot more in, obviously, sometimes get the content warnings at the front. I have started seeing an increase of the amount of books that mention whether there's an animal in it and if the animal's going to be all right by the end.
Oh,
I had
good
it
to
with
know.
Compound Fracture that I read recently by Andrew Joseph White. And it says it's like, yes, animal harm is mentioned. Yes, there is a dog. Yes, this dog is fine. It's just stuff that's happened off screen. So nothing off page, I should say. And I've seen that in something else recently. It might have been Leather and Lark, bizarrely, of all books, mentioning that the dog is okay at the end. Which
As long as the dog
Wish I
makes
had
it,
had that
man.
for Slewfoot. Because
Do not read Disgrace by Quetza.
I will add that to my not to.
Oh,
read
look
list.
what you've. He'll read
It's
it.
on my
I won't
list
read
too.
I will
It's
read
a
it.
very well written book, but it's terrible. It's really terrible. It's like it's terrible because of what's being described and things like that. But it's a really good book. It's a good book, but terrible. If you understand what I mean.
yeah.
Anything by Michael McDowell?
I've
If you
just
do
bought the
not-
first book for Blackwater.
Nice. I got the honker all 6 together. I had to wait 40 years to finish this because growing up in a small town, my library had the first 4 books. They didn't have the last 2. I was not happy.
Because they weren't
And
because people wouldn't borrow them.
yeah. And then
Ah.
for the longest time, McDowell's books were out of print. They just started coming back into print, I think 2012, 2011. So my husband, sweet boy that he is, bought me the honker all 6. I knocked this puppy off in like a week, maybe less than a week.
That's
'cause-
800 pages.
Yeah. Well, but I'm home, right? So I don't go out
Fair.
and about. So a chunk of my time is reading. But if you don't mind a gruesome body count and there's no animals, then McDowell is your guy. Blackwater, The Amulet, Cold Moon over Babylon, the bodies pile up like crazy.
I'm so excited to read the book because I've seen so many little like they don't talk about the books, but they always say if you like something like this, you need to read this. And I remember you talking about it when we were on the live, and I was like, I really need to at least get the first book. So
It's amazing, and the ending, awesome. I mean, I waited 40 some odd years, but it was worth the wait. It was a great read.
I love that. That's one of the books I'm reading for October.
What you should definitely read in October, Noah, and this is a personal recommendation.
Oh
from
no,
Kat,
okay.
Oh
no, okay.
Anything by Richard Lehman, because I know Kat's such a massive fan. I can't wait to see the chat explode in a second.
Rich Lehman. I heard he's an incel.
I have got Richard Lehman books on my Kindle that were my ex-wife's. I have never read them. They've been read. The horror books. There we go.
I love that.
She's gonna find some way to personally message me. I know. What are you reading at the moment, Jaleesa? Because you've been reading. You keep adding books to my list.
Yeah.
Like consistently. I think Sheets was the last one that I added from the other day. I think it was you. I think Sheets was you. Hey Dan, you all right?
Hey Dan, welcome.
Wait, am I behind?
Possibly.
I feel like 'cause I'm listening on here. It's hard to hear. So I'm listening on here, and I feel like it's a lag.
Yeah.
I have a lot of books. I'm going to share it in a Discord.
Oh yeah.
That I'll be reading in October.
Oh, cool.
What are you currently reading?
Everything.
Everything.
It's too many. It's too many. If you go to my community tab on my page, on my YouTube page, you will see all the books that I have lined up for possibilities in October.
Wow.
It's a lot. I think last time I checked, it was like 27 books.
Whoa.
Wow.
You're currently reading 27 books. You're currently reading 27 books.
Oh no, I'm currently reading 60 something. If you go and check Goodreads. You know me, I'm extra. There's so many books.
I mean, with them tabs.
I'm in the middle of so many books. I've lost count. Yeah.
How'd you keep up with all these
Reader,
books?
so I'm like an essential mood reader. I just
Oh.
if I don't like it, I'm gonna put it down, and I'll come back to it later in a couple of years
Fair.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I am actually going to leave.
Okay, Luna.
I need to go to bed. We're an hour ahead of UK.
You are.
I have work tomorrow.
Oof.
So
Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll catch you soon, Luna.
Enjoy your vacation.
Just so you know, Jaleesa is not exaggerating. She
Yeah, I'm
has
not.
got 65 currently reading on Goodreads. I just went and checked.
Oh my god.
You
That
know,
gives
I
me
don't know how
anxiety
I
just to
usually
hear.
remember. Yeah, I have a pretty good memory. I know.
Oh,
I don't get my books confused. I'm always
more than a
reading at
page.
least 5 books at a time.
I'm just going through to see how many I've added to my to read list because there's going to be a few on here. Oh,
See,
so
Kat
many.
thought I was wild trying to keep track of 10.
I can barely keep track of 2. If I try to read 2 books at a time, that's like a feat for me.
No, I
Yeah.
can manage an audio book and a physical or an ebook at a time. That's it. Anything else I can't do.
I struggle with audiobooks because sometimes I find that the voices of the narrator don't match, and
Yeah.
it I don't know why, it just gets me wrong, and then I just like regret even listening to it.
Yeah. I think a big thing with that was like fantasy. I had such a hard time, like if a book was fantasy, I would not listen to it on audiobook. I think it's gotten better. I think they've gotten better people to do like narrations for those books. But like I like in the past, like I wasn't able to do that. It was hard to read.
A lot of them used to be really, really dry when they used to read it.
See, I want to listen to fantasy because I want to hear how they pronounce names.
No, that's the good part. Like that's the good part is learning how to like pronounce the names. I will say. But like I recently had to read a book for my book club, which was Dance of Thieves, and
Also on the list.
And it's like 500 plus pages, which is like I try to avoid books that are longer than 400 pages, just because I know like my ADHD will like be screaming at me the whole time, and so so if I do read those books, I tend to try to listen to them on audiobook, but I was worried because it was fantasy. It was that long. I was like, oh my gosh. But then I went and looked, and the person who was reading was, because it was 2, because it's dual POVs.
Yeah.
So they had a woman and a man reading for the characters, and the woman was Carissa Becker. And I love her. I love her audiobook readings. And so like, I was like, okay, cool. I'm down. Like, even if the guy is like annoying, like I'll suffer through it because I think, she's decent.
Yeah.
But see, in audiobooks, you can't do this.
Oh, yes, absolutely you can. Absolutely you can in audiobooks.
See how pretty, Noah?
You're lucky I'm colorblind.
It's okay, Noah. It's yellow. You can see that one.
Stop!
But see, with audio, and that's why with audio and ebooks, I've had a hard time. Now, part of it's my attention. I've never been tested, but I'm sure I'm ADHD. Definitely ADD. Because I never sit still, and I do things piecemeal, and it works for me. But I find my mind wanders with an audio book. Like, because unlike when I'm sitting reading a book, I have to engage because it's an immersive experience, and I'm reading to either let my mind wander to just, get away for a while. But I can't, I've tried audio, even kicking up the speed, and that helps a bit because the others read like, I'm like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then I miss half the story. So that's why I'm a big book in hand kind of gal, because my attention span is sometimes.
I think because I listen to podcasts, it makes it easier.
Oh, I do like podcasts.
That's how I view it. It's like listening to a podcast. And as far as like taking notes, like I do use Audible, and there is an option in that where you can clip and then take notes. And so I do that as I listen to audio. I do that. I also find it easier when I read ebooks to take notes because I can just highlight in the book super quick and then write a note in the ebook. So I find that personally easier than doing the physical, because physical books, sorry, Elaine, I don't write in my books. So my whole system is Post-its. And so it's literally, if I want to take a note in a physical copy, I have to rip a Post-it, and it's the clear Post-its, so I can put it on top of the page and write out my note and then make a little tabby. So yeah, it's a whole process.
So she's in your group, Noah.
I love that people make notes.
Your notes don't exist.
I don't make notes. Where's the one I made the most notes on was probably.
I have to. I had to mark every time Lucian was the goodest boy. And
He's always the goodest boy. We love Lucian.
There's no
other options.
I do occasionally highlight quotes from books. That's the only time I ever make notes. I write down names, places, and the occasional quote. That's it. Everything else comes from memory, which amazes me sometimes because
I can't do that.
It's just, which is probably why. Also, I want to ask Didi, how did you read or did you audiobook Wings of Night? Out of curiosity. Oh, sugar. Out of curiosity.
Mainly audio, but So typically I do both. So I immersive read. So I will listen and read at the same time. But the like I said, the last few days I've been in the house where I've been sanding and decorating, so it's all just been audio.
Busy,
And it's so
busy.
funny because I had mentioned this to Jaleesa and Keto about you saying that you didn't like the audio for The Serpent and the Wings of Time and on night, and I was like, I went into it a bit apprehensive because I know you said you weren't a fan of the narration, but I actually really enjoyed it. Now I do prefer to have multiple narrators,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm
I
with you on that.
I did like the narrator for this, and I don't know if it's I don't know, recently all the narrators that I've had, especially the female narrators, they've all sounded very similar. Like at one point I think this week I had to like kind of stop and see whether or not it was the same narrator, but it wasn't.
I've done that with Light Lark because I thought it was the same narrator. I didn't dislike the narration. The issue came when it was some of the voices for some of the side characters.
I get
When it
you.
was just, I can't think of a name, the main character's
Araya.
name, Araya. When
Araya,
it was her, the narration was perfect. And also
Mm.
for Rain as well, like
Yeah.
that. A lot of the side characters just felt off.
I
Mm.
think
It
I
does.
know. I get what you say. I get what you're saying, because I think
Yeah.
the vampire for the House of Blood, I forget his name. His
Sebastian,
accent.
was it?
It was
like-
an S something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that she gave him a distinctive
It
like
didn't.
accent like she did with Victor, and it was so
Yeah.
funny because why did Victor have like what, a British accent or an English accent?
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
not all like, it was just weird the choice of accents that they gave the
Yeah.
vampires. I'm like, if they're part of this house, should they, I mean, it's not, I guess it's not the same, but if they're coming from a particular area, and I'm very new to fantasy, so like when
Same.
I hear about like world building and all of this, I'm like, well, if they're part of the same house and they're part of the same world, shouldn't they sound similar? So that was the thing. But I enjoyed it. I think because it's so funny because I have been obsessed with Interview with the Vampire, the series. Like,
Oh yeah.
Jaleesa's laughing because she knows I have literally in every other day I will watch an episode, if not more. And so then to go into it and be like, oh, it's got vampires. Well, okay then. Give
Nothing
it
wrong
to
with a
me.
good bite.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which
'cause I was not expecting it, and it's so funny because I've had the book and I've been talking about the book. I've even read the blurb of the book on stream, and I was like, "Ah, what this is about? Okay, I'm here for it."
yeah, you'll enjoy it, Noah. It's one that I think you should
Yeah,
have
I
a look
think
at.
you would,
You'll
yeah.
like it. If
Interview?
you like, no, well, you might like that as well. But
The
Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
I feel like it was
you,
a very easy fantasy. Like, I know
yeah,
I didn't think because some people have said it was romantasy, and I was like, I get why they say that, but
Yeah.
the romance is so slow. It's such a slow burn, and it's
romantic in the same way that Cruel Prince is, in a way, where there is an element of it there, but it's so background in a lot of ways that it's not the focus, which makes it better. If that makes sense.
Yep.
It doesn't help with the audio that I listened to Gideon the Ninth not that long ago, and the voice actor for that is Moira Quirk. I've just double checked while I was thinking, and she's an actual proper voice actor rather than a narrator.
Mm.
So it's because it's the one person, they're doing all the different voices, but they're also unique and different and accented as well in a lot of cases. Which is probably the best narration. Another one was I can't remember the name of the book, but it was Yuri Lowenthal, who is a really well-known kids TV voice actor as well, and it elevates it a little bit more. And I think because I've listened to those, a lot of other ones do feel a little bit flatter, for want of a better word.
See, my thing is that I like the physical books because I like the smell of a new book.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
But I think honestly, my recent experience with Akatar, because I had that in physical book. I can't do physical books until my kids start school again, because like that's why it took me forever to get through that book. Because it like everyone's like, oh, it's thick, and I'm like, that's not why. That's not why I have a hard time getting through it. It's because I have a toddler that wants attention. So
fair.
Which is funny because he leaves me alone if I read on my Kindle, like because I think it doesn't look like a colorful book, and he doesn't look like a book to him. So he's just like, oh, he's like, I don't think that's boring. Like I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So that's what made it hard. But I actually need to go because I need to go.
It's all good.
Take over taking care of the said toddler.
I appreciate you coming in, so thank you so much for coming in and having a little chat with us. I appreciate it, Witcher.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
fun. Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
Yeah, it was nice
Catch you
meeting
soon.
Bye. And then there were 6. Oh.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
What are you following on Smuttober with then, Noah?
No, I'm done now. I DNF'd Twilight.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. It's not vampires. I hate it.
I've not picked it up yet.
It's like, let me do an okay. I'm a monster, Bella. You are? Yes, look at me. Glitter.
I don't remember Twilight like that. I feel like I need to go back and read it, but I've only read Twilight, so
the only thing I can say about Twilight is that Kristen Stewart did actually act as Bella in it. I didn't realize she was a Woody character, but she did amazing with it.
That is the most backhanded compliment you've ever given anyone ever.
No.
I haven't picked up Midnight Sun yet. But to be fair, you did give me permission to skip it.
Yeah, if you got Feybound and started reading it.
If I read Feybound, which I have not started reading yet. But I might. I know Bad's going to be reading that, though.
Yeah, I'm excited for people's thoughts.
I said to Kat yesterday on, because she did her crafting stream.
I missed that, unfortunately.
We ended up talking a little bit about Twilight. And it was like, vampires, they should burst into flames when in the sun. And it's like, obviously referring to glittery vampires. And I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
I just turned around and said, look, it's not covered in glitter. It's just reflecting all the sunlight back. He's never going to burst into flames. It's fine. Which kind of broke her. Well, I know I think it was Elaine who mentioned, or Noel will know anyway, that wasn't originally a vampire.
Vampire, yeah.
No, Hollywood thing, which I didn't know about.
Dracula carefully. It was Hollywood that came up with that "can't go out in the sun" carp, which good thing for Stephen King, because Salem's Lot would have been a very different book if they'd been out in the daytime. And Vampire Diaries. Now, the show and the books are different.
Yes, I agree.
Because I watched a few episodes of the show. And again, partly high school. It's my story. I'm going with it. And the kids were all watching it. So I had to, have conversations. Of course, we also had knock 'em out, drag 'em out vampire talks about, no, that twinkly carp isn't a vampire. Sorry, kid. Read some real vampire stories.
Yes.
Dracula and, that whole gang. Interview with a Vampire. Read the Chronicles, not Twinkle Twinkle. And I'm sorry, and I'm just bad when it comes to that. And actually, the really sad thing is my husband corrected me about the daylight thing. He's like, yeah, it's in Dracula. He was out in the daytime. And we've seen movies in that. And I'm like, I just reread it. And I couldn't find the page it's on, so I had to go back again. I'm like, crap, you remembered that better than I did. And I just read the book how many times. But it's Hollywood that came up with that whole daylight deal. And so when the Vampire Diaries started, again, how different would that whole town of Dumbos been if the vampires had been out in the daytime? Because they never caught the conversations. They'd be talking there out in the restaurant, and it's like, how are you people not hearing them talk about vampires? Like, what's in your steak or your burgers? Because, like, you people are zoned out totally. You're gonna die, and you don't even hear it coming. They're sitting right there telling you.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Noah.
I love it. I love it.
But what are you reading, Noah? Because I know you actually do have plans for this month.
I do. I have quite a few books because I'm off until the 8th, so I'm planning to read like a lot of books. So I've got Blackwater, September House. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Nicotophobia.
What?
Yeah, it's a phobia of darkness. This woman marries this guy, and he brings like this old grand house, and she starts like looking around, and he basically like, what I can tell from blurb, is that he plays on her fear of darkness. Yeah. Slimer by no, Harry Adam Knight. So basically, it's these group of guys. These like, I don't know, I'm gonna say like young guys get some drugs and they go in a boat. It's just trying to like move it across. Boat breaks. They find an oil rig to go onto, and they realize that is
Just a random oil rig.
It's completely deserted. This oil rig. Shut up. And they realize that they're not alone. And then Playground. Going back for that, heads will roll, and then I'm doing some horror game books as well because Halloween.
Playground. Someone was talking about Playground. I think it was Bad actually.
Bad. It is. Yeah.
It was in Bad's video, wasn't it? Talked about Playground. That's been on your list for a while.
It has been.
So I'm not going to read that.
Fair. Don't blame you.
You've got the Clown Hunt.
Oh, and Clown Hunt. Yay.
Because you need to suffer through that one.
Thanks.
Because
just what I need.
Couldn't. You like clowns. I don't know what you're on about.
I have a phobia of clowns.
You chose to read it.
Well, then don't read it.
I read it. I hated it.
That's the
films. Help me, Jaleesa. Or Aaron, or DD. One of you three help me.
Nobody helped you. This is the thing. It's a good list, though.
Thank you.
You just reminded me. I have a book club book that I'm going to be reading. I think it's indie. It's like a critter horror. Let me find it. I want to say it's called The Infested, but I could be wrong.
I thought you said something else.
Noah.
I thought you said the
Never mind, Noah.
Infested?
Oh, no.
No, that shows what you've been reading last month, doesn't it?
Get your mind out the gutter. No.
My mind's not in the gutter.
Okay, it's called Infested by C.M. Forrest, and I'll be reading that in October. I think it's the only indie published book that I'm reading this month or next month.
I know my book box. Which
I don't know what kind of bugs they are, but it looks like roaches.
Oh,
yeah, going in the mouth.
Yeah, I know.
They go inside the mouth. Ew. Well,
We'll read it before dinner.
Protein.
This is my first book that I'm reading that has bugs everywhere. Besides the other book that I read with the slugs. Not slugs, what was it? The snails or something? The butterflies?
Oh,
the one but it was a book I didn't like. I remember that much. Yeah.
The vampire moths, which I then have stolen as a D&D idea.
The moths that were biting. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that for when we played D&D, actually. I was I'm looking forward to killing you all with them. I've got my book box this month, I believe, is horror-themed, the indie book box. I think. I don't know. They don't tell you until, like, the day they get sent out what the actual theme's going to be, but I think it's horror-themed this month.
Ooh.
So I'm looking forward to that. I should get those. Normally I get it, like, a couple of days into the month, so I should have that for next Saturday. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to hit a load of manga, I think, next month as well.
Ooh.
You know, after I said I was going to read all the manga in March, bought it all, and then put it on my shelf and left it. So I've got a load.
Starts this week.
I've still not watched the other any of the Heartstopper. I've
I've-
read the things.
No?
Sorry, go on. I've only just realised in Agatha All Along, the kid in
Yes.
it is from Heartstopper.
Yes. I've not watched that yet either.
Ooh,
I believe it's very good though.
it's so good.
Yeah, you gotta
So-
watch it.
Also, the
I read
cheapest.
all the books. I'm ready for the new season to come out
No, I've read the books. When's the last one out? Is it next year?
in October. Yes, I think
October?
so, right? It comes
Is
out
it?
next month, but I don't know what. I
Oh.
think it's close towards the end of October.
Ooh, right. Well, that's the new release that I couldn't break book buying for them. That's fine. That I've got the full. It completes
Yeah,
the
you need an
series. It'll be
excuse,
fine.
Man. 99p and you're all over it.
It's
Yeah.
I am as well.
Yeah.
So
99p books. Honestly, they're the best. That's why I've got Light
I'm not
at the
even mad
moment.
at being the same. In fact, I've just literally opened up on.
Yeah. I've been through and I've
Oh, I
actually
missed
got
that.
all stuff.
You catch these.
Just so much. So I mean, it was payday on Friday as well, so I've actually done really well. To be fair, to not buy lots of books, I've been good. They all change on the first normally, I think. So
Yeah,
we'll
they
see.
do.
Yeah, we'll see if it sticks there.
Hmm.
But yeah, but other than that, I don't have any real set plans. Oh,
The
I've been
chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1. He said. "Ah!"
I've been,
Okay, concert.
usually, this is my October 31st. It's the closest thing I have to tradition. But
Yeah.
I've been rocking on to it the last few days, moving
Same.
stuff, getting organized. I love this. And the end of the month, I will have a special remake of my discussion about H.G. Wells,
Yeah.
the musical, the novel. Love it.
Like
Well,
I've
science fiction top fave.
yeah, like that pretty much like brought in the whole invasion into sci-fi for me. And I only just recently, like, I grew up listening to Jeff Wayne, War of the Worlds musical, at my granddad's growing up on vinyl and stuff like me and my sister were obsessed with it. And I only just read the novel, and it's pretty much like word by word. And I was like, oh,
It's
So let's-
close. It's close.
let's break people as normal.
oh no.
I have never listened to or watched the musical. I've not read the
Ben,
book,
where do you live, man? You can't just
But-
be a
Across the road from me.
Noah.
but here's a question: who remember? Nobody will. But
Oh,
there
no.
was a spin-off from Lord of the Rings, from War
Oh,
of the
there
Worlds.
was.
Yeah, from War of the Worlds was a TV series in the 90s that nobody remembers. It was set after all the machines had died, inverted commas, and all the aliens had died. And I'm wondering if anyone remembers this. I actually had to go and look it up because it was the guy who played, not the guy who played Highlander, not
Okay, I'm
Lambert who
thinking.
played Highlander, but there was a TV series for Highlander.
Mm.
Him as
Right.
the lead Yeah.
From
And he
the
was-
movie or the show?
from the show. So he
Adrian
was like,
Paul.
yeah, and he was
I
like,
remember those accents, man. I'm all over the accents.
and it used to be shown at like 11 o'clock at night when I was like 10. And it was just like 2 series. And it followed the aftermath of, obviously, a few of them survived and were struggling to get together on Earth. And that was my introduction to War of the Worlds, bizarrely. This TV show that nobody ever watched and nobody remembers from the late 80s, early 90s.
Bless you.
And nobody remembers it. And it was
No.
amazing. But
I
there we
first
go.
saw him on The Highlander. I had no idea there, and I watched
I've seen
the
Highlander.
other series, Trasher. with
Shocking.
Fred.
I do watch things occasionally. I watched Spider-Man yesterday. Come on, be nice to me.
The first one.
No, the last one that came out. But to be fair, I have seen it before anyway. So my child wanted to watch it for his birthday, so it's like, okay,
Aw.
we can watch it. Duncan, Duncan. There we go.
Ah, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Another
So-
Highlander fan. Ooh, I think I have
like
those
Highlander.
movies. Might be what I watch tonight. I can't be bothered with Prime or streaming because I'm not investing into a character for 8 episodes and then there's no other series. That's like these
Mm.
crap books that don't have an ending. Forget it. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with
I've
you.
got 300 books to read. I don't need other stuff.
My pile doesn't feel so big, so bad all of a sudden.
Ooh.
Probably not, but mine aren't on Kindle. Mine are all physical.
I mean, last month all mine were physical buys, pretty much. To be fair,
Yeah.
I've actually put them all on my bookshelf now in no form of order, just to annoy Noel when he appears again. Because
See, now at least I semi-behave. I went shopping last weekend. Still have to finish the video. Tallied everything up, so I've got 23 new books.
Mm.
Paid $88. Tallied everything up, which means I saved over 300 plus. Probably more if I figured out what it would cost to buy new, but I just went by the amounts on the books.
Mm.
But they're not on my shelves because I have a master book list, and they don't go on my shelves until I add them into the master list, and then I can read and put them on the shelves. Or I cheat and I really want to read one of the books, and then it's like, damn, I better remember to put that back in the pile to add to the list.
no, I just put books on a shelf.
All
somewhere.
mine are alphabetical. Author.
And
Mine-
what now?
Alphabetical? By author?
How?
Well, I have to do my ABCs, but that's.
He went out and deliberately bought bookshelves so he had enough space and spare space. So every time now he's organized and rearranges it.
Yeah.
Well, he'd have to with each new buy.
Yeah, I do. And then
I
I'm
don't.
like, I try to remember that I want to read a book. Then I'm like, shit, what's the other name? And I'm like, A, B, C, D, E, F.
Mhm.
And then I remember, and then I'm like, it's over here somewhere on this side.
I do keep.
I feel like a librarian. Flip.
I do keep authors together. To be fair, there is some form of order to it. Like authors are together. I don't split the author up. I don't.
No,
split
I keep the
series
author
up.
together.
But then that means if I've got like the Wheel of Time series, because I've got most of that in paperback, but then I've got some hardbacks. It goes paperback, then a few hardbacks, then a few paperbacks, which tends to really upset some people. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
For that. Although my Rex Burke books, the Odyssey Earth books, I've realised the book I got from the book box, which was the first one, is taller than the other two, and everything else about it's the same. So at the side, if they were all the same side, they'd match perfectly. But because that one is just like half a centimetre taller, and I can see out the corner of my eye now, and it's not because it's just similar enough that it bothers me. Totally different, fine.
Mine's color what's it called? Mine's in
Colour
the rainbow.
coordinated.
That's it. Thank you. Words.
Oh, I'd love to do that, but
Mine is
I will-
alphabetical like
Yeah.
Noah, but I also make sure that the series stay together.
Yeah, I do that.
That's the thing about having mine color coordinated. Then I have split series, so but I'm like, it's pretty though, but it's
That would run me up a
color
wall. I
coordinated and then
cannot.
alphabetical. Pardon?
No, I said that would run me up the wall. I can't split the series.
I don't care.
I love that. I wouldn't be able to color coordinate.
well, you could for you. It just everyone else would come in and point out the problem, like your mushroom next to you
We don't talk about that.
after the revelation on the last live.
That
Yeah,
was
we don't talk
funny.
about that. Thank you.
That was
So
funny. 'Cause
kind.
you were just like, what? No? And it was just like just staring at it for like a whole while.
The best one was in work where they were giving us like different color post-its for stuff. I just looked at him and went, "I'll explain the colors to you in a minute." So because you just looked at them, were all yellow. And it's
Yeah.
like you can't see the difference, can you? Like
No.
because one of them was
Oh.
yellow, and it's like, oh, blessed. That was fun. You get to
So
miss it
much
this
fun.
time.
I do for once. I'm so happy.
Oh, I don't.
Aaron, how do you arrange your books?
Well, other than trying to keep series and authors together, I don't. because all
Same
I've
as
got,
me.
I've just got one small bookcase over there. It's about so high. All the
Yeah.
rest are in drawers. So putting them in there is less like organising, more like playing Tetris.
I used to keep mine in drawers years ago. That might be what it is, because that's how I used to keep mine. But the other thing is, one of my bookcases is a really old one. And because of where the holes are in the side, it's designed for when books were, as Noah would call, pocket-sized.
Yeah.
So not all the books fit on those shelves. So trying to get it in any sort of order. Nah, the only books that really fit on there are my Discworld books, because they're dead old at this point. And then I'm trying to fit other stuff. It's like, nope, that won't fit. That won't fit. Fine, that could go on that bookcase. And now I've just ended up with shelves on the side of my computer now where all the new purchases have just got, I'd say put neatly, they've been piled on shelves. So they're not even, they're just mixed up in all sorts of ways. It doesn't help that I bought a load of indie books recently in paperback as well. And they tend to be quite large form, like more like
That's
the
what
floppy
she said.
paperbacks.
So I've got my ghost book.
Not for a while.
I caught it.
But,
I was just waiting.
I love it.
yeah, because I know I got How to Bite Your Neighbor, which I know Jaleesa has read. I like that enough to actually get the paperback of that, and I was shocked when it arrived because it's big floppy paperback. So, but all the indies I've got are like that. They're all large form, which is even more annoying because then they don't fit any of my shelves. It's like, ugh, so I need to buy new bookshelves.
Cubes. I have eight cubes behind me, 4 cubes on this side, 4 cubes in my office, 16 cubes on the other side of the wall, a stand over there, and 2 bookcases downstairs. Yeah, and they're all well, no, the bookcases downstairs aren't full yet because I have to decide what I'm taking down, but love the cubes because you can pile them up 2 rows of books. So they're like all over the place. And the closest I've come is to try and do it by subject, like astronomy or fiction or ghosts or this or that. And that goes out the window because, well, this cube of 4, so it goes
I just
down
see
to
the murder book.
those are all my TBR books.
Oh wow.
Close to by author or anything. I try by subject, but I find things all coordinate. You have vampires with ghosts, and then that connects in with energy and other work, and some of the self-help stuff connects in. So they're on shelves. That's why I started the master list. I at least have some idea of where all my books are listed, but the rest of it, it's like going through a bookshop. What do I want to read today?
I have one bookcase is in alphabetical order. Like
Just one?
That one is. The one directly behind me, though, the big one at the back, that's too deep all the way along, and it's just just all the older books. Stop it, Noah.
Okay.
Honestly. Jenny, tell him off.
No, it's fine. Please don't.
I need to get more bookshelves.
Yeah.
Same.
They're just so expensive. You could buy so many books for the cost of a bookshelf.
Well, this is it. Because everybody gets like the IKEA ones, but in my room, they're too. They would be ideal, but they're too high because I've got wall lights. So if I was to get them, it'd be obstructed by the wall light. So I need like a specific height, and the only place that I can get them from is Argos. And the worst thing is, I bought like a narrow one, and it's deeper than the one I had originally, and it bothers me that one's deeper than the other. So, but they're expensive. I was looking at them the other day, and I was like, "Why is it £70 for this?"
Yeah, well, that's what I keep doing because it's like if I'm going to get bookcases, I want to have them all matching, so I need to replace all of them.
Right. Okay.
And it's like I can't afford that because then I can't buy books. So which is my favorite hobby.
But I want to
So-
organize my Kindle library next. I started the other day, and it actually worked out for me because I needed a book for a
Yes, you
prompt
can
for the
know.
Mystic Readathon, and
How?
You can
you can
set your own
create
bookcases.
collections. Yeah, you can create collections on your Kindle.
I did not know that.
I don't do it. I got really confused when my Kindle started automatically putting series together
Yeah.
on it into one thing because it didn't initially do. My old one didn't do that, and then
Yeah,
it's like,
same.
oh, where's all the book? Oh, it's put all 3 books in one tab. Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
mine's I need to organize mine. It's now that
But you
my
can
Kindle
take
is
it off that as well, though. So if
Yeah.
you don't want it to put it, so you can take that feature off. But yeah, I started with my Kindle, and I because with like all the different readathons, sometimes it'll be like read a book with like a blue cover, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how will I look for all of that? So if I just have like a collection that says blue covers, I can just go to that, and then typically I tend to do it alphabetically within those collections, so then I can find an author's notes.
That's a
But
pretty
yeah.
good idea.
I don't have
I'm
a
not that
Kindle, but it
organised.
sounds cool.
I have too much on my Kindle.
No, but then same. That's why I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this, but at the same time, I feel like I'm missing books because I
Yeah.
also like I was like, oh, when I was doing this, I would have loved if I had thought about it initially when I started to get the books from Amazon First Reads, so that I
Yeah.
could see how many books are actually via that.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Speaking of which, I actually need to pick this month's, and I need to pick my. I use both mine and my mom's Amazon account, so then I end up getting.
I like that.
Because we share our libraries, and she doesn't use it, so I'm like, okay, I want this book and this book. Cool.
Nice.
I do like that. I like that a lot.
I've got 312 ebooks now.
I've got.
I
more
I
than
added
that.
one to that.
I had, yes, you did. I had 55 when I started on BookTube 2 years ago. And I'd had the Kindle nearly a decade at that point. I then stuck of it at Noah's last Halloween.
Yeah, it was devastating.
It was.
And then you dropped the next one in the bath.
Yes, I did. Not the
So he's
best
on his
idea.
third
but-
one.
Yes. Yes, I
I'm
am.
with Jilly's was shaking her head. I'm like, I agree.
No.
Look, I will read normal books in the bath, and I have dropped them in the bath before now. as
No.
well.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Books near water, it makes me itchy.
Yeah.
See, I just follow the logic. We live in the UK, so it'll get wet anyway. So,
Don't read outside unless it's sunny.
it's never
Bag.
sunny.
Right.
We live in Manchester.
So it's funny you say that. Say about reading outside. We were driving this week, and we spotted this woman who was reading and walking at the same time. And my mum was like,
I've
"How
done
is
that.
she doing that?" And I was like, "I've done that before." She was like, "You have?" I was like, "Yeah, I've read and walked with a book. I don't think I could do it now, but I have done that before."
I
I've
do
walked
it and
into
end up.
things doing that.
I've done it and end up not realizing there's a road there and just walking
Oh my
No.
god.
on a regular basis. But then again, I also follow the logic that cars have brakes, so
Right.
you know.
Whether they use them.
Yeah,
I've never been run over.
I have.
No.
Well,
I know
obviously
you
you're
have.
with us, but
Oh no, Noah's been run over. So,
Multiple times.
What?
Yeah.
Huh? I'm making sure I understood correctly. You've been hit a couple of times.
Yeah.
even one.
One was on a bike. I was just like on my little road bike and everything, and the
Oh my
car just went
God.
whoop, and I went. Oh.
Mm-mm.
it's important to understand. But me and
And he
Noah, we
still
have this
goes
sort of,
outside. I'm amazed.
we have this yin and yang thing where it balances.
Yeah.
So it's like
He
gets
does the
all
things,
injuries.
not get hit, and then I do the same thing, and I get hurt.
Wow.
He needs to
It's-
swap at some point.
It's like two
No.
sides of the same coin. You just have
You-
the
You keep
unlucky
finding
side.
money, I will happily swap.
Yes. Oh.
I will
so
happily
happy.
swap right now. Then I can buy more books.
You're in a book buying ban.
Not until November, I'm not.
Mm.
Do you not remember what happened last time before I went onto my book buying ban?
You bought more books?
A lot of books before. A lot. I looked so far. I want to read all these books before I can't buy anymore. And then just went and bought about 30. And to be fair, I did read most of them.
Right, so I think that's fine. And I'm assuming most of them were 99p if you got it on.
Oh no, no, these weren't. Me and Noel went book shopping.
We did.
And I walked out of Waterstones having spent £90 ish.
Yeah, and I only
bought-
spent £8 and I was dead chuffed because normally that's me.
Normally we go around and I point at books and Noel buys them for himself. And
Yeah.
This time he was really good and didn't. And on the flip side, I did. Because I think I was getting ready for the challenge books.
Yeah.
So I bought a load of challenge books while I was there. It's like, I need to buy them now. And I've read all them as well now, to be fair.
That's
Kudos.
It's all
That
the
is
other
very
challenge
good.
books that I need to read by the end of the year that I'm struggling with a little bit,
Mm.
to put it mildly. I'm currently listening to Handmaid's Tale as well. I've started listening to that. And I've
Oh.
That was a
realised...
good book.
Well, I've realised I've been listening to it while I've been doing other things, and I've taken none of it in. So I'm gonna have to
Redo it.
Put the audio book down or find another narrator.
It's because I'm playing games while I'm listening to it, and I'm getting engrossed in the games. You know,
Oh.
invading the world as England, like you do. So,
Oh.
what? I was Emily of Aquitaine. I took over. Everybody joined me willingly, more or less. And then I won. But so I need to.
Noah's out.
restart that. But
I'm not-
I ended up. Your picture's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you broke it, didn't you?
No.
No.
Okay. But then I started listening to Light Lark as well, and that grabbed
Okay.
my attention more for some reason. Don't know why, because it's not outstanding. It's fine. But yeah, so I need to, because I think I'm on 14 challenged books this year, and I needed to hit 24, so I kind of need to get a skate on at some point.
Yeah,
You've got enough time.
Well, yeah.
3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plenty of
you're
time
gonna
to
read
do it.
plus that.
I'd
like
probably
triple
not.
that.
I have properly slowed down on my reading the last couple of months.
Oh, age. Yeah.
No.
What? Wait, how old is everyone?
Careful, puppy.
How old are you? Don't call him that. You'll make him blush.
I think
I
that
know, I
Noah's
can
the
see.
youngest here.
Yeah, I think you are
I
the
think so.
youngest.
I'm 36.
possibly.
I think Noah's like 34, right?
I am.
33? Yeah, so you're the youngest one, I think.
So I think
Unless Aaron.
I don't know how old Aaron is. So it's between you and Aaron.
33.
Because 33. So
Wow.
Aaron's the
Okay, Aaron's
youngest.
the baby.
Aaron's the baby. So you just
I'll fight you, Aaron.
Uh-oh.
You'll just about avoid it, Nose. So
Insert
Honestly.
skippity pat pat pat.
honestly, but yeah,
How
I need
many
to go
do you
through.
have of the banned books, Ben?
Oh, I mean, it depends how many of Stephen King's have been banned on my list.
You
So
might as well say all of them.
That's why mine
Yeah.
went up to 17 out of 24. If it wasn't
Ooh.
for Florida, I'd be way behind, man.
yeah, I know I've got. I've still
Florida
got
bans
to.
everything.
Woohoo, Florida!
I think I'm on 14, 13, 14. Akatar was on the
So
banned
that's
books
not
list, so that
bad.
helped. So I've got to read. I want to read Perks of Being a Wallflower. That's relatively soon because I don't
Mhm.
understand why that's so challenged. I don't
Mm.
understand.
Yeah.
Looking for Alaska's on my list.
Perfect. Excellent.
So that's one that I can get reasonably cheap. What else have I got? I've got.
Excellent.
I did have a list, and I don't know what I've done with it. So yeah, I'm on
Love you.
13. I'm on 13. Sorry. So I don't know. I've just have piles of books, and I keep finding out they're on the challenge list. So I don't know where my list has gone. It's on in another book somewhere. But we'll get there. We'll get there at some point. I'm bound to.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what I am going to be reading, which I know is on the ban list. Assassination Classroom. Can't imagine why that manga's been banned from classrooms. Well, that's on my list, so I can probably hit that this month, and a few of the others. But yeah, just so many.
Nothing wrong with that. Ow.
Elaine has vanished.
Oh no.
Elaine, oh Jesus!
I was gonna do Cousin It, and it was like so too hot earlier, and I don't know if she's still here, but you know the beauty of this? This is my own hair. It's not a wig. I can grow my own Halloween costume.
That hair's longer than you are
awesome.
tall, Noah.
That's probably true. When I was a wee little shitling, I
What?
dressed up as Cousin It, and the only way I was allowed to respond to everyone was going.
I've got to come up with the video. Well, I will in October. I've got a bunch. Now I have to get this whole mass under wraps again. But I've got to come up with the video because, well, you saw my dragon onesie for the spooky video.
I want one so much.
And I said to Bad, I've got my dragon onesie, and I want to do a Cousin It video. And she's like, oh, you've got to do them both. I'm like, well, I can't do them both together because the dragon onesie has a hood with eyes.
But you could do it as like a drag reveal. Go. Ta-da!
So now I've got to come up with one that I can do Cousin It and talk through it because of course I can't see through my hair, it's so flippin' thick. So if anyone tells you when you get older worry about going bald, that's like so not true for everybody.
Right.
But it was cool because when I worked in high school the one year we were just joking around and one of the kids had long hair, as did I, one of the guys. So we both just threw our hair over the front, put on our glasses, and got a picture. I love when the kids play along with you.
I
That's
need
the
to
one
know.
thing I do miss.
I think Noah has gone to get his crab costume first off.
He's going to do something.
He's gone to get his crab costume. I was going to ask him what he's going to dress up as Halloween this year.
Wait, that's not the one you got stuck in the other time, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, because
Yes,
I
it
remember
is.
once you had on a costume and the seat got you. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
it's nice.
What are you wearing for? You're not wearing that this time. What are you wearing for the Halloween costume this year? Well, for our Halloween stream.
Oh,
I don't. An eggplant, maybe.
No, that's not Halloween.
eggplant? Did you say an
Okay.
eggplant?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I don't know. I don't know what to be.
because
eyes-
You want to be an eggplant, honey?
Do I know?
I'm ordering mine for the thing after I come off here actually because I've seen what I'm wearing.
What are you wearing?
I'm
What are
not
you
telling
wearing?
you.
Tell us.
Just like I
Ooh.
didn't tell you last time.
Oh no.
So, and do you remember how that worked out? You nearly had a
You
heart attack.
scared me.
It was Halloween.
Yeah, but when I'm walking around my flat in the dark, then I look up to the toilet and I just see this thing in like this monstrous thing with its head tilted staring at me. I stopped and I was
Your
like, what?
toilet.
He wasn't on
Yeah.
the toilet at the time. He means bathroom. And he was walking towards that. The way his flat is, he was walking from his living room and the bathroom door was open. And
Yeah,
the
it's
light
my
was
bedroom.
off. And he just saw this white Slender Man-esque thing.
Yeah, it was mortifying.
in
It
there.
scared
And
me.
it,
I
it was
stopped.
me in a morph suit.
Yeah, I just stopped and I was like, am I actually seeing what I'm seeing? Is this real? And I went to scream till he was like, it's me! And I was like, oh!
Which made it worse.
And then
Yeah.
you did scream.
So I've still got
He always
that
makes me
picture.
scream. Oh, we need to put that in Discord so people can see.
Don't go, he always makes me scream and then make that noise. Honestly.
Thanks, Dan. This is my favorite thing I've ever bought. I bought this like months in advance for last year. It's the best thing ever. Just so I
It
could tell the
wasn't last year, it
crab
was
joke.
the year before, wasn't it?
2 years ago.
Because that was our first Halloween stream.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I will be doing another one this year because I am off.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you're off because it's a Thursday.
Okay.
Because I've booked it. I am off
I
that
will.
week. I'm off for Halloween again.
I will
Means
try.
I'm not-
Nice weather.
Oh. Well, thing is, he didn't realize that because we did it from his flat. So I managed to get in, and he didn't realize I had the costume on underneath what I was wearing as well. So he just thought I'd just not bothered to dress up for Halloween. I think he had a mask with me or something, so he thought I was just going to wear a mask.
Yeah. So I'm
then
here in a crab costume.
He went to get food and just walked back, and all he heard was "ah." But I will chuck that picture in the Discord in a minute because I still have it saved. So
Yeah.
that'll be fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times. You could do a horror reading, Noah.
I'll do it.
So, or do we do another Chuck Tingle reading? Because I know you did so well with that last time. That the live reading where you just gave up half. What was it called that you read again? I can remember what it's called. Can you remember what it was called?
Pirate, Bigfoot.
No. Start again. Other way around.
Bigfoot, pirate, pound my bum or something like that.
Haunts your balls.
Yeah.
That was what Noah live read.
It was traumatizing.
It wasn't that bad.
You did it with such a straight face.
Well, yeah, you picked a far easier book for me to read, to be fair. Mine had the Unicorn Butt Police.
I'm stuck in the chair.
That were...
Wait.
What? Unicorn
I'm
Butt
stuck
Police.
again. I'm stuck again.
And they were...
Help me.
And they were smuggling chocolate milk. It was a chocolate milk investigation.
Help me.
So I had the... What have you done?
I'm stuck in the chair.
No. Noah,
Yeah.
turn your camera off. And then, so we don't see you undress on camera because
I have a top on. I'm not naked. Oh, I undressed myself. Yay.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
What is
You don't hurt yourself.
You'll just think like I'm Donald Duck in it or something. Like,
I mean,
oh, Jesus.
Suddenly your rope play comments make far more sense. But what? What? You know what?
This is going very well, everyone.
You have shame.
Yes,
I
yes.
do not.
I am shame. Yeah.
You are shame. But I think we could do that. We could do a live reading. Let's be honest. You've just sent me a horror book from Chuck Tingle. What was it called that you just sent me?
Oh, I sent you.
I know what it's called off the top of my head.
Friday the 69th.
Friday the 69th.
Which I think is it involves a dinosaur.
Let me look this up.
In fact, I've actually got my Kindle open.
Oh wait, I wonder if I can do this so I can get people to see what it is.
It's bizarre. Apparently, I've already read a couple of pages of it. I don't remember that.
Wait, let me see if I can get it to come on. How do I do this? So I do present,
and fetch the picture up.
Share screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
36 pages.
Yeah, it's a lot of those pages. There's two stories.
There we go.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's what he has sent me.
The cover is.
Nicole is
Honestly.
thrilled to spend the weekend with her friends at Camp Diamond Lake, a secluded campground that used to be all the rage but has since been mysteriously abandoned. It's only on the drive up that Nicole learns why. Hearing the legend of Jesse Vormez, a masked brontosaurus who stalks the lake at night.
What?
You didn't actually read the blurb, did you?
No,
She
just saw the
found
picture.
34 pages. Oh hell no!
I bought it.
That will be there won't be one story in there. There will be two.
Yeah.
There's always two, and then about 6 pages of here the rest of my books. Let me just. Oh, hang on.
So worth it.
Noah, would you like to know what the other book's called that's in there?
Sure.
The other story.
This
Sure.
Are you
erotic
sure?
tale is 4,200 words. Assisting human on lesbian dinosaur. What is this?
Lesbian dinosaur?
Yes. The second book story is Lesbian Megalodon Shark Lifeguard Summer Butt Hunt.
That's a lot of elements.
There is.
What?
There is a lot of elements.
Oh, it's so funny.
So, yeah, Noah has sent me this.
If anyone
I
has
think-
a Kindle and they want to read it, I'll send it.
I think he wants me to do a reading for him again. Is what this
You
is.
do that live
it?
for me, please, for Halloween.
No, absolutely not. Unless you can get me explicit permission from Chuck Tingle to do it, which he
Bet.
would probably give. To be fair,
Right. That's what
Bad.
I'm saying. He most likely would say yes.
yeah, he probably would. So,
So,
yeah, I will read it live on stream with permission. I don't care. I've read
Okay.
worse. I have read a lot worse.
That's
and
true.
recorded it and sent it to people. So
mm.
I regret so many things. I know right now he's going on Twitter to send a thing going, can you read my friend read this, please? You're predictable, Nose. Because I would have just DM'd him directly, so
Right.
because I can do that. I'm not going to. I'm not going to make it that easy for you.
Mm.
But I have had permission before of him, so there we go. Fun times. That's what I've got to read this month at some point.
Hmm.
So that'll be fun.
See, and I just got called the Jason Voorhees of books under my book murder movie.
Yes.
Voorhees. I don't know. The dude with the mask and the
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. Someone in the comments said you're the Jason of
Voorhees.
books.
And I won't mind. He part of that was to call me out. He's done that video, and I wasn't even that bad.
Well, see, now I have to come up with a mask and a knife and a pile of books, and who knows? This could be a whole series, The Book Murder Part 2.
I mean, if you can get a mask of the governor of Florida, then straight away he's trying to
I'm not-
murder books.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to look like Santas. That guy's a douche.
but honestly, why did I look at that? That was a bad idea.
How do you guys multitask? Like, I'm just sitting here doing this. You guys are playing with your Windows and your X, and you're just. Going
I've got quite a few screens.
Noah
I'd
has
be,
two
like,
screens.
So lost.
I have one, and I have 3 tabs open. But it's I'll quite often I'll bounce when I do my videos. I'll have tabs open for every book I want to talk about, so I'll forget which book I'm talking about when
Well,
I'm
that's why I
recording.
have notes.
So I'll have the book there just so I've got the title and the blurb in front of me, so it triggers my memory a little bit.
Daniel, that's an excellent. Okay, now the mind's ticking. How is this whole costume? Okay, but I can't be camp, whatever it is. And it's funny, and I don't know if any of you watch the debunker, The Shape. And he
I
actually
don't watch anything.
wears the mask because he's a big Jason fan. And I'm hoping, if I hear from him, to have him on one of my live streams, October, possibly November, which will be
Yeah.
hilarious because it'll be like, okay, so you love Jason as in the horror movies and that genre. I've been called Jason of the books. Oh, Noah, it's so good you called me that name after that scream because look at all the spin-offs we're getting from
I love that. That
the
pleases
movie,
me.
a tag.
I aim to please.
I mean, I had to go one step further and literally burnt a book on screen, but just to upset him. But I didn't do that because I'm nice. There is a book that I would have. There's a book that you threatened to burn.
I binned it.
Well, I know you binned it. It was that bad, and you blamed it on me.
Don't do that.
No,
Oh,
trust
no.
me, you would do the same to this book.
He was warned not to read it,
And then,
and then blamed me.
yes, Aaron, yes!
Oh,
Jason
that could be
Bookies.
my new channel name.
Oh, there you go, Noah. That's what you could dress up as for Halloween.
I gotta write that down, Aaron. That is awesome.
Do it.
Oh, fun time.
That could be my alter ego when I do like horror books and things. Oh, my little mind's just racing like crazy right now.
I mean, you could do that and then make the journal out of the remains of books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wait till he sees Janie's tag. He's gonna lose his crap.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
I don't cut books. I don't rip pages. But then I don't craft with books.
No.
But I have to admit, I was watching something the other day, and they'd gotten a book, and then they opened the cover, and they'd cut all the pages out to make like a hidey spot inside. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have any books I could do that with. Like, since I've been doing this banned book thing and realizing there's fewer books in the bookstores and in the libraries, it's like, oh, hells no, I'm not cutting them up. I'll color them and make them pretty with a ton of markers, but I'm not destroying them.
A really interesting thing about that, actually, because I was watching an interview on, what day was it? It was a couple of days ago, and it was the person who runs the book subscription box, and he was talking about the future of publishing potentially, and he's saying that he feels that self-published is the future of books realistically, and people are going to do it all themselves, because he said that basically the same 6 publishing houses who've all been around for 200 years at this point, they only pick from like 8 basic storylines and recycle them over and over again.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty, I mean, what something that I speak about when I do the reviews is that I don't put any weight really on story anymore, because I've already read the stories. It's just the characters that make it different. A lot of the time, the beats don't really change. And he was saying that you don't really see that originality as much because they go for the safe option. And it's interesting because it's not necessarily the same book, but it kind of is, especially now because you see this explosion with a lot of fantasy and romance, or romance in general now has really exploded the last few years. And when I was reading Serpent and the Wings of Night, I was reading it going, that person's appeared there, so this is what's going to swing around later, and this and this, and all the points matched up. And I've seen it again with Lightlark and with another book I've recently read. It's like, I've read this book vaguely before, and it's a recycled storyline, and it's like, well, where can I find? And that's why I've had such a good time with the indie books as well. They're so good. I've got a Hades and Persephone retelling to read called the Hades Calculus. And it's, in fact, I can actually reach this because it's right next to me, which is this one. It's a sci-fi retelling of it.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is Hades is a mech, and Persephone is their pilot. Or it might be the other way around.
Oh,
and it's like,
that's interesting.
Such a weird way to take a classic myth and twist it. I'm really curious to see how it's meant to be really, really good, but like a cyberpunk retelling of a Greek myth as well. Very excited. I might actually move that up on my list for next month, actually. That can sit on my desk to remind me that I've got it. But yeah, it's and Greek myth retellings as well. There's so many of them now. That seems to be very in vogue at the moment.
Circe is based on myth. I haven't read the other one. Circe I enjoyed. I got that from the library.
I think I've got that on my Kindle as well. I think that was another 99p purchase.
All the time.
Because that's not it. I mean, it's not a, chunker like King and Half the Rainforest stories, but It was a good size read.
I love that King and Half the Rainforest.
Well,
It's
I mean,
fair.
who else has to write books? And was it? I think it was. Hang on. Voice and allergies again. Was it Witchy who said he just writes so long and then he gets tired and okay, we're done next and on
You know,
to, and
I
he's
think
done
so.
that with some.
Another, although I've not read much of them yet. Sanderson as well is another one who just writes these massive books. And what I discovered is that he actually writes, and I didn't know this, if he has multiple point of views for books, he writes them all as a separate novel and then puts them together into one massive novel at the end of it, which is fascinating to me. So he literally will write 3 separate books and then combine them into one big book with the 3 points of view. But he'll write like 3 books a year at like 600, 800, 900 pages a piece. It's like, how? And thing is as well, because he markets so aggressively himself, he does a lot of it himself. So it's like he refused to put his stuff onto Audible because he didn't like the cut that other authors got. Because big authors get a bigger cut.
Oh, wow.
And he basically turned around and said, until you come back to the table and discuss, I want this for other authors, give them that. And until you meet that, I won't come back. And there's been a little bit of movement on that as well, because he doesn't like how the system works. He's just one person. And it's like, what was it, 80 million he got for his secret projects that he raised on Kickstarter? And then he also says that authors should never sell the rights to their special editions. Never sell the right for a special edition, but keep that for yourself because you never know when it'll explode.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's like, he's fascinating to watch. And then every week he'll do a video going, I'm at this point on this book, I'm at this point on this book, I'm at this point on this book, and I've done this. And he tells people constantly where he's up to. And it's like, how do you have time to read?
Seriously.
It's insane to me. Absolutely insane.
Now he's the one who finished The Wheel of Time, isn't he? When the
Yes.
original
Yeah. That was the first time I'd read anything of him, and then I read the first of his Mistborn books, which is 600 pages ish.
Oh, you talking about Sanderson?
Yeah, I don't understand how he writes so much. Like, just insane to me. It just baffles me. I need to go back and reread book 1 and then carry on with it. And I need to figure out where I was at with Elantris as well, because I believe there's an Elantris 2 coming out relatively soon. Oh, I know he's working on it anyway. But just like, where do you start? There's so many. It's like, and they're all, well, not all of them, but a lot of them are linked as well, vaguely in one way or another, or set in the same universe. So it's like, where do you start with this? Similar issue to what I have with King, because I know some of them do link up a little bit. It's like, where do I start? Do you start with the first book they wrote? Or is there a book 1? Or just, yeah.
I saw a TikTok with him saying some girl was looking for his books in, I think, like a Barnes and Nobles or something, and they had taken them all off of the shelves because he was actually there to sign them. And he actually stated that the best place to start is Mistborn.
Yes, I know. I think every year he does like an updated list because he writes so many. But it's just, I look at it and go, a bit like when I think I'm going to reread Wheel of Time. I then look at the entire bookshelf and go, that's 14,000 pages. That's a lot of book for me to reread.
I want to, but yeah. I mean, I'm not intimidated. It's funny when people talk about page numbers. I don't typically look at page numbers anymore. Well, I never did. I say anymore, but I never really did. So I'm not. But in terms of the series, the Wheel of Time series just seems like it's never ending. Like Outlander, I would like to read that, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to invest my time in all of those books. And I'm somebody who likes to read the books back to back, and I'm like, if I do that, that means I'm not reading anything else.
Yeah.
That's what put me on. I started listening to because I know I can never remember her name. The person who plays Moraine in the TV series has started doing the audio books for Wheel
remember?
of Time. I can't think of her name.
Rosamund Pike.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks, Aaron.
She started
Moraine
doing
in
the
the series.
yeah. She does the so started re-recording the audio, and she's really good as a narrator. Just on a side point, really good. So I listened to book 1 of that again, and it's like, okay, now I listen to book 2. It's like that's another because I don't listen at double speed. I can only like manage 1.2 or something, and then otherwise I just lose it. They also like chipmunks to me, and it's 40 hours.
It's a lot of hours.
I don't have, because I don't commute much, because I walk to work. I don't have that sort of spare. So I'd only listen to it again if I was doing something else. And then I end up in a situation like I have with Handmaid's Tale, where I just miss it all.
Yeah.
And Wheel of Time, because of the nature of it, even though there are filler books in there, the world building and the sort of minor things add so much flavour to the series in a way that if you really, it's bizarre to say, but you miss out on so much if you don't dig into those little details a little bit. I mean, the thing that goes with the series is like 700 books, just the glossary piece. That's got its own book. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, see, I bought mine as paperback, and I've got the Tor Mass paperback set. When I saw the show, and see, that's part of also why I'm not into new shows, but I enjoyed it. I thought, I bet this is based on books. I looked into the books. I tried the first 3 books, and then I had the next 3 and the next 3 and so on and so forth. I ended up reading that whole series in a year. Now, like Lisa, I end up picking up books here and there. So I'd read a bit of Wheel of Time. I'd grab some of my other books and things. So I was still getting all my reading done. But so it was 2022, because in January 2022, I set the goal, read my own library. Then suddenly I ended up getting into Wheel of Time, and I'm like, well, I have to know how this ends, and I can't just skip to the last chapter because there's like 10 more frickin' books I gotta read. And Ven's right, without going through. But I could never do that as an audio series, and there's a lot of information, but there's also a lot of stuff about the costume, like what they're wearing and this and that. And I'm like, I don't give a fig Newton what color her buttons are or what she's wearing this day. So in a book, I can visually skip that and know where to pick up reading again. I couldn't do that in an audio book because you'd have no idea where does that description end and the next part of the story begin. And that's a huge, 40 hours. That's like a freaking work week.
Yeah. Well, the other thing as well is because I got lucky because when I first hit Wheel of Time, book 1 had been split into 2 separate books, which was more manageable. And I read Wheel of Time before I read Lord of the Rings as well, which Noah hasn't read.
What?
Noah's not read any Tolkien. So it's nice to be able to dunk on you for this.
When I pick on him for books.
Good, I'm glad.
Mortify me with what you haven't read or seen.
Now wait just a second.
What? Look at that cute little face. Can't pinch the cheeks.
No, but I actually read Wheel of Time before I read Lord of the Rings, which is bizarre because when I started reading it, I read the first 10 books and then switched to the hardback after the first 10 because I got them as they came out because I was invested at the time. And then I fell off the wagon a bit. So the last book I've got is paperback because of course it is, which is like 1,000 pages. But it's a bit like I need to go back and read Robin Hobb's the last series of it's not the Far Series trilogy, but the third Robin Hood trilogy around Fitz, which I haven't touched yet. And it's like, but it's been so long since I've read all the other books. So then it's like, well, am I going to remember it? Probably not. So it's like 6 books, then that, and then obviously you've got all the other books set in the same world, like the Live Ship Traders, which I haven't read. And it's like, there's just so much.
Mm.
So much.
It's a lot.
Also, I think, Jaleesa, you've got the special edition of that, haven't you? So I'm going to come and burgle your house when I come to America and steal them. Because I want them so much.
Bless yous.
So, what's Japanese literature and manga? I need
Yeah.
to read more Japanese literature.
I agree, but I struggle finding them. I do want to read more of Japanese literature. I want to really like dive into the horror because I know how like different and vast it is.
Mm-hmm.
But also the fact that true, but also the fact that diversity says that they're used to the hero's journey, but in Japanese stories it works differently, and I don't know how.
So, what I would suggest you try and read, and I will lend it to you. I read. It's inspired by more Eastern mythology and Eastern culture rather than Western, because there is a massive disparity there in the way they work. Bloodstones by Tori Tekken is almost like a halfway house for the way it works, which I absolutely loved. It's a book 1, book 2 isn't out yet. I will chuck it your way. I think you will like it. You might find it a bit slow. But the hero's journey is very, very, very different in your more Eastern. I need to read a lot more, actually. I'm curious to see when you hit more Fae stuff. Because obviously your first Fae story was Fae-bound.
Yeah, which I love.
That's not European inspired. From what I remember you saying.
No, it's
was it Central Africa?
Central Africa, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was trying to remember. I know it's Africa, but I couldn't remember whereabouts.
And I'm curious what the differences are. I need to read. I mean, I've got it on my shelf near me, but I
should read it.
I'm curious to see what the differences are there as well in terms of the character journeys. Because fantasy, at least what we get in the UK, and I spoke about this a little bit with Sunbear Trials as well. We in the UK don't get anything that's really Latin focused or anything like that. It's all very much British or Eastern European in focus. The fantasy. So we have a lot less of that cultural diversity in our fantasy writing over here. There is some there. There's plenty around.
But not as much as you'd hope.
When you look at like what's released over in the US, and I've been quite lucky to get like the YA stuff through Peachtree and stuff like that, there's a lot more of a cultural smelting pot in the US to what we have in the UK. So you see a lot more diverse writings, which seems like a weird thing to say, considering all the issues that are going on with like book challenges and stuff for stupid reasons. But we don't have that here. It's all everything feels very Tolkien-esque in a lot of ways as well. So villains don't always lose, which is something that I do like.
Yeah, no, I would appreciate that a lot more.
Junji Ito is good. I like Junji Ito. I am in the process of finishing Blood on the Tracks. It's not really horror, but it's more like thriller. And each volume it gets creepier and creepier.
Yeah, like this is mine. Mimi's Tales of Terror. Absolutely fantastic. So good.
Because
seriously,
the other thing, quite often it feels like you get to the end of a book series and everything's good, everything's fine, and everything ties off in a loose little knot.
Yeah, not with the.
And that's not how things finish. There's always threads, and a couple of bits that I've read. There's a what happens next, and you never get that answer. And some people don't like that.
Yeah.
Because they like to have this is where the story ends. So anything that happens,
finish the sucker up so I can move on and stop wondering.
Well, thing is, sometimes
I sometimes like the wonder though. I'm like, oh,
what did I read? There was something I read relatively recently that did that, and I can't think what it was. And it was like I got to the end of the story. It's like, but what happens next? And there's no intention to write the next bit, but it's like this can go one of 3 ways now. Which way is it going? And it's never going to be. It's a standalone, never going to be complete. The author said so, and I like the idea of, well, okay, we've reached the end of this part of the story. And there's more stories to tell, but we're not going to tell you what those is. Let your imagination run wild a little bit.
Right.
which is a little bit what's happened with Good Omens with the TV show.
Oh, I love
Because-
that show.
Because the
Not
season
seen it.
season 2 is not based on the books. Because
I haven't
obviously
read the books, but I love the series.
I've not read the books. I'm a massive Pratchett fan, but I've never read because I know it was Pratchett and obviously
Gaiman.
his name's gone. Person
Okay.
who's in trouble at the moment. Well, I know season 1 was based around the book, and season 2 isn't. So it's Gaiman's. Obviously, Gaiman's been involved with it and given
See,
sort of the
that's
story
where I
writing.
knew the name from.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sandman as well as the other Gaiman thing that he's quite well known for on because
Yeah.
of which I also haven't watched yet. I do actually need to watch that at some point.
And is it never something?
Neverwhere.
Neverwhere. Yeah.
Neverwhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much. Coraline
Mm.
as well.
I've seen the
That's another one.
movie, haven't read the book. Tim
Yeah.
Burton.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
bizarrely he's one that I've never actually read, but I've always been aware of his stuff. I mean, I've not got any of his books. I probably never will, but I've got too many other books to read.
Yeah.
But it's that open-ended, and then someone else can potentially pick up the story at a later date, which I kind of quite like sometimes, depending on what they do with it. Obviously,
Exactly.
that's always the catch.
See, look at George Lucas and what happened with the Star Wars
Mm.
franchise. Those,
Yeah.
I mean, and again, this dates me, but I went and watched the first Star Wars. And of course, the series doesn't flow in the 9 that it was always intended to be.
No.
Mm.
And so we all patiently waited. And the last 3, and I can't remember when Lucas sold and what happened, but those last 3, no, that just
Right.
was not the way it was supposed to go with Luke Skywalker. And what a load of hooey.
No, well, I read for years when I first started reading it was Star Wars Legends books that I read. So
Hmm.
I'd read all about what happened after the Battle of Endor and Luke and Mara Jade and the original Admiral Thrawn, which, to be fair, they've not done a terrible job with him in the live version so far. We'll see if that holds up. But I remember I went to see the first of the last trilogy and thought, well, this is fine. Didn't upset me. And then I went to see Last Jedi, and I was drunk and I hated it. And then I watched it sober and hated it even more,
Yeah, I was
which is
gonna
very
say,
unusual. But then I watched the last one, and thought, why? Because because Last Jedi was so negatively received, so they tried to retcon it. And that they should have. If you're going to make the decisions you made with Last Jedi, you carry on with them. You've chosen to crash the plane. Deal with the aftermath of it. Don't just say, "Oh no, the plane didn't really crash." Oh look, here's all the people you liked before. No, and that made me hate the last movie even more than Last Jedi. Not because it was a worse movie, although it objectively was, but it didn't try to hold to what had been set up before it, and it just
Yeah.
made it such a disjointed mess because Disney panicked. Which is what they did. They panicked. It's telling that the best Star Wars show that's come out has been Andor.
Yeah.
Because that is probably the closest to Legends in a lot of... I know apparently Acolyte was quiet. I've not seen it yet. Had a lot of inspirations as well.
Mm.
But Andor was meant to be really, really good. I've always seen bits of it, but I was watching it thinking, this doesn't feel like Star Wars, but it feels like it took place in the Star Wars universe that used to exist.
Mm.
Hmm.
And then I watch the new films and go, I don't want to watch these anymore.
Yeah.
It's based on discussions. Okay, I didn't know that. So there we go. So I do need to. I watched Good Omens 2 recently. I've actually watched that. I've watched something.
Yeah,
I did
there
actually
you
watch
go.
that. So
Well,
I've
see,
seen- I've seen bits of Andor. I've not seen all of it. I tend to drop in and out of stuff. I'm due a month of Disney at some point to do a load of catch up, but not The Lion King. Just
It
on
needs
principle.
to be.
No. I'm on principle. I'm going to go see Wicked in November. when that comes out of the cinema.
It's...
I'm taking my daughter to see that in November. I'm taking Kaylin to see Transformers when it comes out. Thought it'd be out by now, and it's not. It's only out in the US, which
He's
is
so
really
angry.
annoyed me. Because I wanted to go see that today.
Oh, bless you.
So I'm going to take him to see that. I think it's next week that it's out.
Mm.
So I am going to the cinema. I am going to start seeing things again.
Good.
But surely. I didn't go to see Alien.
I did.
I know you want to discuss things about that.
I do. I still do.
But I'll tell you what, I'll watch it when you finish reading Iron Flame. You know, you've been reading it since February, so
No.
That's gotta be a bad book.
No, it's good. It's actually really good. I am enjoying it, but other books have just got my attention because I started doing themes.
Yeah.
So it keeps getting pushed to the side.
This is why I don't do themed months, or I do themed months with you and then don't read anything for the theme, like last month.
Yeah.
I've read Clottie's Song.
I've got themes, but I read other stuff too, because I mix and match. And for me, the themes were just a way to try and stay on top of content for the channel instead of my erratic, I'm reading here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
I read the themes to kind of, hey, here's what's potentially coming. But
Yeah.
by the way, I'm doing banned books and this and that and everything else too.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
you
not
can
that
watch
organized.
just the themed videos or the others.
No, I need to plan my month. I've not planned it yet. I've done one video. I've done one.
That's something.
I
like it.
Only because I remembered that I had permission to do it and I needed to do it before I forgot. But I've done it. That's Necromancer called Gam Gam. Reader.
Yes.
So I've done the read of that. You get to hear me trying to do a grandma voice. It's atrocious, but that's Thursday's video. So
I'm excited.
look, I got the arc for the second book. Really good. Also, there's 3 books on the website for prequels as well. One of which tells the story of their familiar, who is a cat. And it's called the Nugget's 10th Life, I think it's called. So it explains Nugget's life before became Skeleton Cat. And it's like, do you need to read this? No. But you get to learn about a cat that ended up in turf warfare against the Calicos. I'm here for this. So
yeah.
And also, you know, you've got this little old lady who is a necromancer, this evil stereotype creature.
Yeah.
And the first time you meet her, she's just sat at a campfire knitting socks. So she ends up with this undead army to help someone out, and they're all wearing like scarves or bobble hats or socks that she's knitted themselves. And it's like, you can tell it's a D&D character inspired. Like, you can tell this, to be clear. But it's like, I want to play this character in a game at some point. Just little things.
Love
That's
it.
on Kids Unlimited as well, actually. So it's only 130 pages as well. It's a nice quick read.
That is a quick read. I like that.
So nice and quick. And well, book 2 is 130. Book 1 is maybe a little bit shorter, actually. Like I say, there's 2 short stories set actually on the author's website that you can just read. So
they are. I've read Wicked the book, and it is very dark. But I'm excited to see the musical in January, and I will be taking Jenny to go see the movie in November.
I just want to see, what's his name? Jurassic Park person. That doesn't help.
No.
Saw those movies, enjoyed them. Yeah, I think
What's his
we
name?
those.
Goldberg.
Oh yeah,
Goldblum.
he's
Jeff
Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Goldblum is Oz, and it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't care about anything else. I just want to see that.
Yeah.
That's enough for me to go see the film.
But there's a new Jurassic Park coming out. Sorry, Jurassic World coming out with Scarlett Johansson in it.
I have no interest because I watched the first of the new ones and hated it. I despised it. I refused to go and watch the others.
The second one made me cry.
I watched the original Jurassic Park. I went to see them at the cinema when I was a kid. Loved the first one. Second one was okay.
Mm,
Third one, I can't really remember much about. Was there a fourth one? I can't remember.
I think
No.
so.
Can't
Was there
remember.
There
not?
wasn't. It was just three, wasn't it? And it's like, they should have just stopped at one.
Right.
I just
That
left it
was
there.
amazing. The original.
the
I
first
haven't
one
seen
was-
any
Yeah.
of the remakes.
But the book for the first one is
I mean,
so different.
the giant
Yeah.
log flume at Universal is amazing. That's Jurassic Park themed. But
Never been.
past that, I would it. And then I watched the one with the least interesting Chris in Hollywood, and just bored me. I was so bored watching it.
Mhm.
Like, genuinely. Are you eating unhealthy things again that you're not allowed
No.
to eat? Honestly. The look of guilt.
I can't lie. I'm a terrible liar.
Well, I know that you're eating Lebkuchen as well, which makes me sad because I don't have any, because I love that.
My
So,
childhood.
this is true. You are German
Hmm
for your
So, see,
sins.
you were talking about book size, Ven. To be honest, it's part of why I've never read a Sarah J. Maas. And based on some of the things I've heard, I'm not sure if I will.
Wow.
Again, if you want me to invest my time, I don't want romance, and I don't want it to be a honkin' romance. Like, give me bodies and stuff like McDowell, and I'll think about it. But
Well, the thing with Sarah J. Maas is the more she writes, the longer the books seem to get.
Yeah.
So, like, Throne of Glass is the first one. It's 400 pages, this one. And
Yeah,
it's
it is.
fine. It's aggressively okay. But then you look at ACOTAR, and ACOTAR
Here's the
somehow
first one.
is 420 pages.
But
of
wait,
an idiot.
And then the
Of an idiot
second
and
one
consent issues.
is this one.
oh
But
lordy,
And then the
But
third
when-
one.
But when you get away from that, you then hit is it Crescent City, the other series is called?
That one
Yeah.
was
900
800 pages.
Yeah.
I
How
read
many?
that one. It's like between 700 and 800 pages. I read
Yeah.
that
oh
one.
hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thing is, they then all link up as well. This is the thing. the
Ah!
last Crescent City book links directly to ACOTAR.
Right.
And they all apparently do link to Throne of Glass, although it's suggested, not explicit yet. Which means we're going to have Feyre the idiot meeting Selenia, the person who is apparently very smart until she has plot reasons to not to be, in the same book. And I will hate it. And I will not read it. Interestingly, book one of that was 99p. I didn't buy it.
Hmm.
So...
See, I just saw a review of, because when they were reading it for the banned books, a bunch were reading, and I can't remember. It was one of the Sarah J. Maas books.
It'll
And
be
the
that one.
review was saying,
It's
which
that.
one is it?
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Mhm.
Is
That's
that
the one that. This is the one that has been banned in everywhere. Although, to be fair, most of her books are banned in everywhere. To be fair,
So is that the one where she kills a wolf, but it's actually a fae?
Yes.
Okay, so excuse me, when I was hearing that review, I was like, wolf, dead, done.
Hmm.
no one knows
No.
exactly how this is going to go because he can see me spooling up now. The whole
You know what?
thing
No,
is-
here we go. No. It's the fact that when the wolf comes in, she's like, this is too big to be a normal wolf. This is kind of in Fae territory. This could be a Fae who's shapeshifted. But also, I'm out here hunting for food and I'm kind of hungry, so I guess I'll take it and eat it.
No, you've missed out a key point here, which is, oh look, that's a wolf that's too big to be a wolf, and I'm an idiot. I'm a really good hunter. Oh, but that's definitely not a wolf because it's too big and it's got to be Fae. If I kill anything that's Fae, then my life and my family's life is forfeit. But it's a big wolf. It's definitely not Fae, even though it's too big to be a wolf. And I'm still an idiot. And they'll know where I live. That is the plot. And then it doesn't get any better.
It does!
It doesn't
It
because-
does at the
because-
end!
Because then she's shocked when another big wolf monster appears at her door, takes her away, non-consensually dry humps her multiple times. She gets
Listen,
told,
you leave Toyota Corolla alone.
she gets
Timberland boots.
told, don't go outside because it's really dangerous and you'll die.
She does that
Goes
multiple times.
outside, she nearly dies, gets angry because she nearly died because she went outside.
But wait, there's
The
more.
only- the
She's
only
given
thing-
rules. She's like,
She's given-
don't make deals with Faye. Don't drink the wine. Don't do this.
but-
And she not only does she give the Faye her
Ignore
real
all that.
name, she makes 2 deals with Faye
the thing is,
and
there's-
drinks the wine.
there is
Uh-huh.
one thing. I've still not read them. There's one thing that I like.
Oh,
They're like what you're talking about, and I'm not showing these to have Noah freak out about the spine. So go ahead, Ven, and then I'll explain about these.
Okay, I'm ready
Well,
for this.
the
Everyone grab your
biggest-
books for this.
There's one thing in the book that I really do like.
Amarantha.
And it's no, because she's an idiot as well.
Don't call me an idiot. I'm waiting.
Oh, right. So there's a point where they're talking about the Fae, and they're talking about all the things that they know about the Fae. So they can't lie. They don't like ashwood. They don't. They can be killed by ashwood or iron or whatever it was. And there's a really interesting point where it's pointed out that no, Fae can lie. They've just let you. They basically conditioned humanity into believing that they can't lie, so
Yeah.
they can get away with more things. Like that idea, like
It's
that
like
a
the
lot.
Vulcans.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the only thing in the book. Like, there's a whole thing. Just the character of Feyre infuriates me so much because we're told how smart she is, and it's when you're told that somebody's really clever and you turn around and you see them licking a frozen lamppost, and you realise that
I've done that.
and nobody claims that you're smart.
I went to university. I'm smart.
I did not go to university. That's the
Okay,
most
I did that in
high.
I was a child when I did that. Your tongues
Right.
actually do get stuck to them.
That is the most Noah statement I've ever heard. Well, that is the entirety of the book. Who's looking frozen
Oh my
posts?
God.
Noah, unsurprisingly, genuinely, and I know I've made a throwaway comment in a video. I have read so many times how good Sarah J. Maas is writing characters. Is at writing characters. I have read 3 books. I have not found an engaging character. I have not found any.
You have Lucian. He's the goodest of boys.
Lucian is the best written character in the book.
Yeah,
That
well,
doesn't
he's the only
say-
person I actually kind of liked.
Yeah,
I like him. He's my
Um,
favorite.
Rysand was interesting until they made him too human. And that's the other
Mhm.
thing. They made all the Fae too human. So
Right.
the idea of the Fae is they are so immoral and their ethical standards are so alien. Why do they all have human emotions and it's stupid?
Because they've still got something that we could only classify as humanity. They still
No,
have.
right. But the thing is, they live for thousands of years. At some point, certain things do fade over time. Over that amount of time, the idea is that they're capricious. That because they have nothing that can kill them, there's nothing that can.
But that's not true.
It's not true because of Amarantha, pretty much.
No, there's other
who is a
things as
walking
well.
Plot hole. But the idea of the Fae is that their approach to pleasure and enjoyment and temptation is,
Oh, hell yeah.
mine is shiny, mine, and then drop it. And humans are meant to be so far below, right? That's the idea. Humans are like cockroaches. That is the whole logic. They all are very human in the way they're depicted. I've gone on a massive rant about a book that I gave it 3 stars to. And I didn't hate the book while I was reading it. I just hated Feyre and wanted it to fall in a ditch and stay there. And she didn't.
No, she technically did fall in a ditch, but she didn't stay there.
Yeah, and then sulked about the fact she fell in a ditch she was told was there. And again, I will probably read book 2 eventually. Because Rysand is vaguely curious to me. Vaguely. And I want to see if Lucian stays interesting. Tamlin can get in the bin. Faye was an imbecile. It's why I've not touched any more Throne of Glass yet either,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
Selena felt like a better, more competent version until the plot needed her not to be. So again, she's shown to be competent, shown to be smart, and then suddenly it's like someone going into a bar and going, "I'm allergic to peanuts."
I want a bag of peanuts.
And then avoiding peanuts for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then just one day going, "Oh, there's a peanut there," and just eating it. That is how Sarah J. Maas writes her main characters. They make sense until she doesn't. Until she needs them to do something stupid that makes no sense. Yeah,
Right. I thought the same thing.
it is the McDonald's of literacy. That is what Sarah J. Maas is. It's fine while you're consuming it, and then you put it down afterwards and regret it so much.
Right.
So, Jaleesa.
I will die on. I'll die on this hill.
I read these books. I read up to book 3 of Avatar. I'm not going to read book 4. I'm not going to read Nesta's story. I do not care. I don't want to. I don't want to. But yeah, he's right. Like while you're in it, while you're reading, you're like, "Oh, this is okay." But then, like once you finish, you start thinking about things, and it's like, "Wait, what did I read?"
I'll be honest. I hit a certain point in the book, it was becoming a hate read. I'm not going to lie. That's what it was at some point, because it's like, this is going to. And the only bit of the book that didn't annoy me as much as it annoyed everybody else
was the dry humping.
There was a dragon?
Was the riddle? No, was the riddle?
Oh, the riddle! The riddle.
Because everybody hated
when I found out what it was, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I knew it instantly, and she was like, "I don't have a working brain cell."
It was obvious, but then it's a written riddle. It's a wordy riddle, and she's illiterate, so it makes more sense if you frame it like that. That is but it was still stupid.
Okay.
But that bugged me less than it bugged everybody else. That didn't bug me as much as it bugged everyone else. Everything else in the book, it was like I'd almost prefer to read It's Me, Charlie. Almost, not quite.
Don't even do that. I'll say that. That's the book that I've been, by the way.
Yeah. It just frustrated me. I'm a character reader anyway, as well. It's worth saying, and I've read a lot of fantasy. That is not a good protagonist. Anyway, rant over.
Okay, can I rant on witching?
Yes, go for it.
I've not read these.
Well, so we have Anne Rice, who's beginning, from what I've heard, starting to sound like Sarah J. Maas. When I mentioned the size of a book matters, so here's book number 1. It's like 1,100 pages.
Wait, that's book 1?
Oh,
this is book 1.
I meant all 3.
Mayfair
Witching Hour
trilogy.
Oh, okay, the Witching Hour. That's the Mayfair Witches?
Yep.
Okay.
Have you read these, Jaleesa?
No, but I watched the first season on AMC.
Oh, it's way different than the book.
That's what I
They
heard.
cleaned it up
So I want to
immensely.
read it.
And I only watched 2 of the show. So 1,100 pages. Well, it's just as well Noah's got his eyes covered. By page 500, oh, look, now he's there. 508, I had crossed out 900 sentences that had incorrectly started with the word "and." Trust me, this puppy I'm thinking of throwing in the recycle box. Who got paid to edit this carp? Anyway, that aside, so we have our main characters. I'm not going to do any spoilers. The main one creeps me out, Rowan, because she's like a Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, doesn't know when science has gone too far. And that comes up way more than the Witching Hour. Now I'll read Teltos and Lasher again because there's a bit more of the story. But in here, she keeps going through the Mayfair history. When we get new characters, she keeps repeating the history. I guess she didn't read Wheel of Time or think about it. Put a damn glossary in the back. I don't need to read this 10 times. You could have saved a couple hundred pages. This is considered erotic. Yeah, not so much unless you're into reading about people who are jiggy into their younger family members and wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and on we go. Like, it's not erotic. It is definitely not Harlequin romance. Exactly. Thank you. And I was going to do a commentary, review, whatever, about this series a couple years ago. I can't think of how to do it without sounding really bad and rude. There's other people who loved it. This must have been when Anne Rice was starting to fall off the deep end and getting all weirdo wild with stuff, because it's gnarly. Just boy.
Okay, I'm gonna buy it next month because I wanna see what it's about.
There is, I mean, I like the character of Michael Curry, who they didn't really include in the show, and that pissed me off too. That's why I didn't bother, because it's called the Mayfair Witches. They don't do witchcraft. I don't know where Rice did her research, but there's no witchcraft. There's just like stuff that implies they're witches. Actually, no, I stand corrected. The first two from 400 years before, when this line started, were witches. And then the rest are just, I don't know, bizarre, power hungry. They got tons of money. There's Noah's cute little face again. And, but yeah, but like I say, the next two books are good, but you got to get through the first honker.
You gotta do the first one. You said 1,200 pages again? 1,200?
This one,
I'm getting a flashback.
1,038.
I think I can do it. Maybe I'll make it like my big book of the year next year.
Oh yeah, because even the
my
print's
God, and the font is
kind of
so tiny.
small. It's not like some of the others that the print's
Yeah.
big.
Mm.
But yeah,
I'm gonna have to get, if I can find it in large print, maybe that'll be better for me.
possibly.
Yeah.
But this, as I'm hearing comments about mass and all that, I'm thinking, no way, man. I like Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, and I've almost bought that whole series. Well, most of them rebuys. I don't unhaul anymore, but I've almost rebought most of the Vampire Chronicles. Now, those were an excellent read, which is why I thought her Mayfair trilogy would be, but yeah, no.
Yeah. Diversity says she's only read the first 3 vampire books by Anne Rice, and they got less and less readable.
Oh, see, I like the vampires, but again, we all enjoy different things, right?
Absolutely.
Many people enjoy mass. Some people enjoyed that discovery of witches, but I'm with Kat. I read that and went, "Are you kidding me?" And then my library had the second book. I bought the first one. And the comments on my library were, "Don't even waste your time. Just go read the third book if you want to keep figuring this out." And I'm like, I don't even need to read the third book at this point. I'm done.
Right.
It's worth mentioning about A Court of Thorns and Roses, right?
Yeah.
It's got 3 million ratings on Goodreads.
Woo.
And it averages a 4.18.
That's not
This
bad.
baffles me.
Okay, well,
And
I see
book
Kat's
one is-
back.
Yeah, book 1 as well always tends to be the lowest rated on a book series as well, because it tends to be the one where people try the book series out. If they don't like it, then they'll leave the negative reviews, whereas the further into a series, normally the reviews go up.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Also, Kat, because I know you like Richard Lehman so much, I have just checked my... Hey, Donna, you all right?
Hey, Donna.
I've just checked my my Kindle to see what it is I have on there. And I have the complete Beast House Chronicles by Lehman. So that's The Cellar, The Beast House, The Midnight Tour, and Friday Night in the Beast House as well. So, yeah, which I don't know how many pages that is. It doesn't tell me, but it must be like 1,200 pages ish, which I'm not going to read because it's Richard Lehman.
See, I've never read these books, Body Thief and Memnock. Is that how you say it? Blood and Gold was
Yes, Memnock. I had to do this for Kat. She's back and she missed it last time, and I know she could use some giggles.
Oh my goodness. Wait, so how many books is this? 13 books total?
Yeah,
For what?
Vampires is long.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna read them.
You're
love
gonna
the
read them,
series.
Dee Dee?
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
good.
let's do a
Blackwood
good read.
Farms is awesome.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot
Okay.
of books. That's a lot.
It is.
I'll get
She
the
loves
first
it.
3 and then see how I feel, and then I'll buy the other ones if I'm okay with the first 3.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot. That's an investment.
It is.
Because my
That's the
library
only
doesn't have them. My library, they don't have the physical, and I think they only have a couple of the ebooks, so I'm going to have to just buy it.
Of the Vampire Chronicles?
Yes.
See, mine, and that's where I lucked out. Mine had everything but Blood Canticle. So they had the whole series. Now, I ended up rebuying Interview with a Vampire because I knew I'd read it more than once, and I loved it. And I got Prince Lestat, which is a great summary of the whole series. Like, even if you don't read the rest of the Chronicles, Prince Lestat's an amazing book because it goes through, you get the background to the vampires, you meet all the vampires. I mean, you could even just read Prince Lestat and pretty much get the whole series without reading the whole series. But yeah, I loved it, but I was lucky, like I say, except for Blood Canticle, the library had it. Then I ended up being at the thrift store on 50% off days and other stuff. And I'm like, well, then I may as well just keep buying the series because I'll eventually read it again. It's not like a Wheel of Time massive honking thing, but yeah, they were good. I enjoyed them. Oh, it's too hot. Okay, Kat, I hope you had a good laugh and enjoyed that because
She definitely did.
whew, that's my own hair, man, and it gets hot there when you can't see through the Cousin It costume that you grew. Yep, look at tons.
I am
tons
not
and
reading
tons.
them all, Kat.
Look at it. I don't even need special. Look how much fun I'm having with this. I don't even need special effects. I just need my hair. Okay, sorry. I'm kind of like, hogging the camera there. Go on.
You're all good.
I do like the Addams Family movies.
The originals.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
the Addams Family.
I've actually seen them.
I'm impressed.
So
I could go see in the spooky.
I could go see Beetlejuice this week.
Ooh, you should.
Oh, yeah, I plan to watch Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. I have that.
I love Beetlejuice.
I need to go see the second one.
Same.
That could be a job, something to do on Thursday when I'm off. Yeah.
I need to see Beetlejuice.
Bless. Davis says, I think I read Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles on the 90s when I found Poppy Z. Bright, who had more vivid vampires.
Oh, I'm supposed to be reading one of their books this year, too. I forgot which month. I don't know if it was November or December.
Haven't read her
I'm supposed
yet.
to be reading with a book club. I didn't know it was
Poppy Z?
vampires. Poppy.
Oh, I have Wormwood by them on my list.
Ooh.
I don't know why I have it on my list. I don't know where I've heard that one from, but I've got that on my list from somewhere. So many.
Exactly. Yeah, mine's the same. It's like sometimes I'll go and it's like, when did I write that? Who did recommended this? So
I was doing this the other day on live. It's like, who reminded me about this? It's like, oh, it was me. It's like, you're the culprit.
trying to think. Was Kill It? Here, I'm gonna yell at my hubby for a minute. Not in a bad way, but
How dare you come into my room? Blah, blah, blah.
I think I'm gonna have to go.
It's all good. And thank
All right,
you
bud.
so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. You're amazing, and I'll catch up with you soon, bud.
See you later, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right, just so everyone knows that everyone's links to their channels is definitely
I may
all down
have
in
to
the
go as well.
description.
It's
It's all
time-
good, Jaleesa. Thank you for joining us. I
Catch you
appreciate
soon.
it. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
I had so much fun.
Good, good. I'm
Bye.
glad. Bye, hun.
See you later.
I have missed Jaleesa.
I have missed Jaleesa.
Kelly
let's watch.
Armstrong is what I was yelling at him about because he'd read my husband had read a vampire series, but I haven't read Kelly Armstrong, so I don't know if anyone else has or not.
The name rings a bell. Hang on, let's do.
Yeah, I haven't read hers, but he
not
enjoyed
how you
them. I
spell.
tried her werewolf series and it sucked.
Fair enough. Oh, there's a lot of books here, right?
Hopefully
This
her
is gonna take
I
me a
don't
minute.
think her vampire ones do. And actually, my hubby was saying she's also a Canadian author, which is cool, but makes me sad that her vampire books stink. Oh, her
I need
vampire
some.
books aren't that great either? Oh, well, that's sad. No wonder Canadians don't make it much in the big highlight thing. Yeah, I knew I wasn't on mute. It does make me sad, but we do have some amazing ghost authors and stuff for sure.
Oh,
I've not read enough ghost books.
I have tons to recommend.
So I will
Do
send
it.
recommendations. I know I was going to. I was actually going to. I've had all week to do this, and I haven't. I was going to do a lesser-known horror book Rex video for spooky season. Oh,
All Canadians.
so the last book with ghosts in that I read, which was a fiction one,
mm.
we'll ignore Compound Fracture because I'm not convinced the ghost was actually there in that one.
Okay.
Was 16 Souls and 12 Bones by Rosie Talbot, or I think it's Merrow Child on TikTok.
Mm.
And it's set in York, which is the seen as the most haunted town in Europe, city in Europe, interestingly enough.
Mm.
That was decent. What I like, though, and bizarrely, it comes down to when we were talking earlier about voices. You know, when you read and giving voice to it and the different voices for audio books.
Mm.
I'm curious when people read what accent you hear in your head. Because unless it's very specifically written, every book I read has what I class as generic English accent constantly. Unless the book is written in a certain way.
See,
You don't have a monologue. So
I don't have a monologue, so I don't hear voices. I just
I hear
everything's
voices
pictured.
all the time, but
I don't.
specifically when I'm reading. But it's a weird thing that it really sticks out for me when a book captures dialect well.
Yes, like
So-
Butcher and Blackbird.
Butcher and Blackbird did a little bit, not so much in the second one because the second one felt a lot more, very much high pitch Irish accent. It was very la-di-da. It really irritated me. Lachlan should not sound like that in my mind. But something that 16 Souls got really well was everyone sounded Yorkshire to me,
Oh,
which is a weird way to say it. And interestingly enough, Compound Fracture did an amazing job of that as well. As I was reading it, the way the words and sentences were formed were off enough that I felt like I was reading redneck.
Oh,
If that
okay.
makes sense. And I really appreciate when I read something that manages to almost capture different dialects of the different characters, because otherwise it just all sounds British English to me.
Yeah,
Hollywood British English as well, which is the worst sort.
the
because
worst
no
one.
nobody
one's
speaks
English.
Like that.
No.
But and it fascinates me as well because I was watching a video recently about, and it's something that I've spoken about a few times on books based in the US, and the fact that I sometimes find the dialogue stilted. Yes, I'm itchy. Leave me alone. Right.
Oh, Dan wants
why-
an example.
So compound fracture is a really good example of. I'm not pulling out a book to actually read the example to you.
No,
because
just do an example of.
I can't do accents. We know
Neither
this.
can I, but still try.
You can. You're better at accents than me. Scottish is one you see quite often in some books where you have Scottish characters, and it always sounds a bit Scotty from Star Trek, which is not a good Scottish accent, but it still translates that way. But 16 Souls was a good example of that. Compound Fracture did that really well. Did the Whistling? No, Whistling didn't do anything well, did it?
No.
From what I remember. What?
They just sounded generic. They didn't explain, didn't have certain like accents or way of speaking.
But the other thing is, like I sometimes complain about stilted dialogue in books,
Mm.
especially American written books.
How dare you, Americans?
No, I realized what
I'm
the issue
Canadian, man. Don't get the two countries.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Separate countries.
I watched a video recently talking about variations in English, and it was talking about why sometimes Americans seem to come across as so stupid to English people.
Oh, no.
It was an American talking about this. So
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
And they were saying that what it is, it's the way that we use language in the UK is so different. So UK English is high context. So if I said to you, Noah, go check if the window's open upstairs, what would you do?
Mm-hmm. I'd go upstairs and check the window.
And if
but which room though?
Does it any room? It doesn't matter. But
okay.
You'd go and chat. Potentially, most people in the UK would potentially go if the weather's cold outside. Okay,
yeah, you close it.
If the weather's cold outside, and you say, "Go and check the window upstairs for me," you'd go up. You'd see it was open. You'd close it. You'd come back.
Yeah.
Down. American would go upstairs, look at it, come back down, and say the window's open because.
Poor
and
cat. No, they wouldn't.
No, it's because it's a context thing. American English is low context, so when an American, not all states, it does vary by state as well. To be clear, upset all your American viewers here, but because of the way it's German's a similar example of this as well. Interesting.
No.
You the words you say explain what you mean. In British English, it's not, it's implied. So if you ask someone to do, if I say to you, it's fine, it doesn't mean fine. It means you pissed me off. Kitty!
Kitty cat.
And it's just the way that the language has evolved in this, because Britain has been here for so long, context has become baked into the language more than it has in the US. Whereas US is more, you want something doing, you say what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in English, British English, it becomes a case of you say a word and you assume people to take context from the surroundings a lot more. French is similar in that regard. German, however, is the opposite side. German is low context language. And I've started to notice this in a lot of books where I'm looking at now going, actually, no, the dialect makes sense. Because it's US English, not UK English, because it doesn't need the context there to inform what's being said. And that's why it sometimes feels off. It's why I've had issues with, which book was it? Legendborn. I had a lot of issues with the dialogue of that because it felt so stilted. It's just because from the way the approach to language is, it's just so different because it's a lot more streamlined. American English is more streamlined and straightforward and to the point. British English is more, we're going to say some words at you, but the words we say don't match the dictionary definitions, which is the best way of describing British English you could ever get because we don't actually say what we mean.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to say about Canadian books? Because now I'm dying to know. Because they're different.
I don't know what books I've read by Canadian authors, so I couldn't comment.
Ooh, what a save! What a save!
So, I suspect, though, Canadian's very similar because also to American English.
Wash your mouth out with.
Then again, maybe not because Canada's French as well, innit? You have French and English speaking Canada, and French is context heavy, so maybe not actually.
And we are still much more tied to Britain, not just language. Even though we've tried to, loosen those little strings.
It's fine. You'll loosen the strings. We'll just come over and steal your stuff and put it in our museum. It's fine.
That's true.
You let that douchebag Harry and his woman come over here for a while. Like,
Only
what the hell?
Only because we didn't want them.
Well, we didn't want him either. Why should our tax money have to go protect his sorry, I'm not a high whatever, but
we let the US have Piers Morgan as well. We were very generous with that.
That's so generous.
It'd be nice if he'd stayed there.
That is true. That is true.
Or did he go back to Britain? I've heard I saw something. He went back to Britain without the woman and kids.
Yeah. Well.
Did he?
Okay. Sorry. Yes, he did. There's been Boris Johnson has apparently been given Harry relationship advice, which is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard as well. Just
What?
on a side point. No, Kat, I hate to point something out, but the entire reason that you dropped the U in colour is money, because American newspapers charged for column space by the amount of characters used. So you dropped unnecessary letters, so it cost less money for articles.
See, we still have the.
Yes. You know what? I think it might be, actually, because of the way we approach English, because it's not as straightforward in the UK. That is a very fair point, actually. It's more ambiguous in use of language. So, actually, yeah, probably. This is my opinion. I should probably add that before I get strung up and murdered.
You think?
But
Noah, he's gonna choke on his treats.
Noah's used to me by now. He's used to my approach to non-content.
I'm used to choking because of that.
Pardon? Is that a high context or a low context sentence? Because I have questions.
But see, language makes a big difference. And the one school that I worked at, it was an elementary school at that time. I've worked in both, but this was elementary, and a number of our students had come from other countries. It was an area where a lot of people were first coming, and so their kids were coming to school. And I hadn't even thought of it, because you say these silly things, right? And we were doing a group, and I said to the one kid, "Oh, you're pulling my leg." And all the kids are suddenly looking under the table, and they're like, "But he's not anywhere near you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh," they took me literally. Yeah. And yeah, then when I worked in high schools, I actually worked in a couple of programs with ASD students, so autism and Asperger's, and yeah, you have to watch what you say and be very clear about it, because they don't read facial expressions. They don't necessarily get it right away. And I'm just saying the students I worked with, because like anything, everybody's different. But you did have to be very careful and watch what you said and how you said it. They don't get sarcasm. So again, even with that, like you'd think you were making a joke, but they're very literal.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, because British humour is very sarcasm based as well, which actually, and again, I can't speak for Canada, but the US doesn't get American humour the same way. It doesn't translate as well. And again, it's the context thing.
Yeah.
And then when you look at, and the other thing is as well, that's why English is such a mess of a language anyway. It really is. Because
yes, it is.
You've got, most of it is based from Germany. Most of it is Germanic language. But then you've got French pulled in. You've got what's left from the Gaelic language. You've got the bits that have come over from Norway, when the only time we've ever been successfully invaded, before we went off and returned the favour to everybody else. And it's just been this whole smelting pot for so long that it's never needed. Cheers for dropping in. Really appreciate you. I hope you have a good sleep, or whatever you're doing for the rest of the night.
Thank you very much, Diversity. We appreciate it.
And it's language fascinates me. In fact, if you ever look at a map of the UK, you can tell which invader group, inverted commas, was in which area by the town names.
Ah,
Because you can actually see like certain names are linked to certain different languages and still hold. And it's bizarre.
see, I agree with Kat, and that was brutal trying to explain to students as well. And they're like, how do you like read, read, how do you figure that out? And it all comes down to in the sentence. But if you're a struggling reader,
Yeah. My
you know.
my youngest is currently going through checks for autism at the moment. He really struggles with reading. And we did like the reading the other day. It's like he forgets that when in certain letters the consonants just change wording. And it's
Yeah.
like, and you know, they do a massive focus on phonics in the UK, which is great.
Yeah.
Except spelling wise, English is not very phonetically consistent.
Yes.
To put
Well, it isn't
mildly.
phonetic,
I'm
right?
gonna
You
need
have all
some of
your
that.
silent letters, exception this, the other rule that. It's like, holy
Don't know what that was.
crikey.
Hello.
Hearing
I
I
voices.
apologize. That was my phone saying I need to charge it.
Ah,
You know what? It's so funny because no matter what, I am guaranteed on a live stream for it to go off, and I always forget.
it's like Jenny messaging when we're doing recording.
All the time. I have to warn her beforehand. Still does it.
Yeah.
Love it to bits.
I
will
just
plug
edit it
in,
out
but
now.
it says something as well. So
But it's just such a mess. English is such a mess.
It is.
Why do we have silent letters? What's the point? What's the point of the G in night? Explain this to all.
It's good night.
Or the K in the other night.
Or gnome.
Well, you'd know all about that one, wouldn't you?
Don't be such a
Sorry, I did that wrong. I like that one.
Thank you.
Knob.
But yeah, it baffles me. But that's why translations sometimes are so missed as well. It's why when you read Story of O, I think because they did literal word for word translation.
They did.
It
Oh
failed.
Lord.
Baffled me so hard.
Yeah, literally. Have you still got? Can you still remember? He did pull down the left window,
No.
the right window. He stopped. Get out of the car. Do exactly what you are told.
Yes. No. Sure. I'll be there. Now go. What?
Yeah.
What is
And
this
it's like-
one-sided conversation? I'm so puzzled.
And the thing that really baffles me is they're again taking that from a high context language, and then translating it as
It's
a
French.
low context version. Yes.
Why are they having? Why? What?
I mean, French was the national language of England for a long time.
It was. It was.
Nobody
But
spoke
still,
it.
when you translate it, you make it make sense. That's the part of being translated. Your job is to translate, make it readable, make it make sense.
Maybe the book was that bad that they thought it'd be better if they didn't make it make sense.
It's also been made into a movie.
You need to review the movie.
No.
Yes.
No.
You didn't finish Twilight. This is your punishment. I didn't start
Punishment
Twilight.
was making him read Twilight. Get
He-
serious.
Out of curiosity, what page did you get to? Because you said you weren't going to DNF it before page 100. So, what page did you get up to?
Not 100.
Right, you need to get to page 100.
No.
You did this with Beneath the Rising, and that's a good book.
It ran about the same page as well.
Yes.
Make a deal. He hasn't started the book he was supposed to yet.
I'll read it. I don't DNF, so I will read it.
He does DNF. He's done it like
Started
once
it
or
yet,
twice.
though.
I've DNF'd twice. One was
And this book that he's supposed to be reading is worse than Twilight. Because it's all
not worse.
Edward's of.
I'm
Now, to
sure.
be fair, I did at least read Twilight, so Noah, shame on you.
Yes, Noah. How dare you?
You could have at least sucked it up and just finished the book. Don't
Go back to my
pout.
crab costume.
Don't
No,
pout.
you'll get stuck again.
I
I'm
will
gonna
get
be
something.
leaving soon, so don't you know?
Okay, we will end soon. I promise.
No, I just have to travel. It's almost it's 5:30 here.
I mean, I will read some Richard Lehman. I will read some. Not this
Wait,
month.
Kat should name the book that you read for that.
I already have.
Yes,
No.
you should.
No.
Kat, name,
not-
give. No, this is.
I'm not spending
Kat,
money on it.
I will buy you the book.
You will not.
I will do it on Kindle, so it's
You
cheaper.
are not buying me any more books.
I will buy you a book. So yes, Kat, please pick the book that Ven should read.
No, do not pick the book that I should
No,
read.
Please do.
I will read The Beast House because that is, I think, the better. I'm not reading the entire sodding anthology. You can.
I think
bugger
you
right
should.
off.
I think you should.
No, because it's about 1,500 pages. No. Look at them, Riz. I got in so much trouble for using the word Riz recently. I can't remember. I think I was trying to embarrass my daughter and it worked perfectly. It's like me using the word rad in front of you. That broke you.
Totally bodacious.
Sorry, I'm just playing because it's kind of funny just how wild my hair is. I had
Yeah,
no
so
idea.
much fun. Yeah.
I know, it's like, if I had I don't even need a green screen. It's just like
It's beautiful though.
I need to
Thank
stick my green
you.
screen out.
I guess I'll have to keep it out of the ponytail. Well, I've been distracting enough doing my like wild hair things and cousin it
They were brilliant.
impersonations. But this has been a hoot. Thank you so much.
No,
for,
thank you for joining. I really appreciate it.
It's been
Well-
fun meeting new
well-
people, chatting with the gremlins, wreaking havoc. It's all good.
We'll wreak havoc on your channel soon enough. Don't worry.
Hmm.
I know you guys need to be in. Did we say November?
I think so.
I can't remember. I know I've got. I'm on.
You're with
Another
Alan and
bibli-
Greg.
I'm with Alan and Greg at some point in November. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I need to book that off the following day because that'll be in the early hours of the morning, jobby.
Mm.
So I need to make sure I book that. I think it's the 18th. I think
Yeah, I know you posted, so make sure you let me know.
it's Monday nights, isn't it? So yeah, it'll be the 18th. So
Okay.
I need to make sure I book the following day off because
So the two
that'll
of
be
you coordinate, make sure, well, we can get in touch via Voxer and email,
Yeah.
and we'll definitely have shenanigans on a live stream again. You get it, Milo. Okay, I've got to go. Thanks so much. Thanks.
Bye.
Anyway,
And the lovely
Catch you later.
guys. Take care.
I'm jumping off as well. It's
All
been a
right,
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Oh,
That's all right. We're so
didn't think you'd do
close.
that, did you? I hope you don't have too much more of your decorating, building, whatever it is you're doing, because I know you wanted
I'm-
it done by now, didn't you? So
Yeah,
ideally,
I'm hoping that this is the last week. Well, not hoping it has to be the last.
it will be.
Yeah, because it needs to go back on the market like yesterday. So, yeah. But thank you for having me. It's been fun. It's been a fun
thank you.
evening.
Thank you for joining. I really do appreciate it.
We need to do it
Okay.
on mine. We'll
I'm
figure it out.
down.
We'll
Definitely.
figure it out. Actually, saying that, I'm supposed to be doing like a book association kind of quiz night thingy. And I'm trying
Oh, I
to do
remember you
that,
mentioning that.
like once a month. So we need to get a date where we can all do that. Bye, Donna, darling. Bye, Dungeon Mistress.
Ooh, I like that.
But yeah, thank you for having me. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, what's left of it. And I'll see you in the chat soon.
See you
yeah.
soon. Have a
Catch you
good
later.
day/night.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
On the next episode, Ben tries to get himself cancelled on the internet.
You've done. I'm glad you're here, though.
I do this
Seriously.
quite often, to be fair. What was it last time that I did? I did one not that long ago.
I would like to, Donna. I would like to know about this name.
I need to add right now that Noah likes to be stepped on.
I.
So...
You,
You are so easy to fluster. It's adorable. But,
stop.
right, so I do actually have a plan for this month.
Okay, go on. Let's hear this plan.
So look, we have color coordination.
I can't see that poo.
I know you can't. No, I do have a list. Whether I stick to it or not is another matter.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to read Horseman by Christina Henry.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to read. Where's it gone? Hollow, the graphic novel Hollow, which is another. I didn't say that properly. Hollow, which is a graphic novel based around Headless Horseman.
Yes, I remember you talking about that one as well. Yeah.
I might hit Pet Cemetery. Maybe it's the only. It's the only King book I'm really interested in reading. To be honest, Dog.
Ishmael,
Dog.
you good boy.
Yes, and he's wound up, and I'm not even there. Serial, which I've mentioned to you.
Yes.
Which is a graphic. I've got a load of graphic novels actually this month. So I've got Serial, Death Note, Demon Slayer, and Tokyo Ghoul book ones.
Ooh.
Which they'll be easy to get through. And then I have Harold the Ninth. I want to listen to. I need to have that. There you go. There's your answer, Noah. Nice and straightforward.
What?
You need the error 505 on screen again.
I can do that.
Duckett and Dyer Dicks for Hire, which is a supernatural detective.
I don't think they did Donna. A supernatural
So-
detective thing. Okay.
What else have we got? Mentioned that. Ashes of the Star-Cursed King. That's the follow-up to Serpent, which I have on audiobook. Young Gothic, which is one of the books that I picked up with Jenny when she was stopping me buying books. Dungeons and
Wait, what?
Duckett and Dyer Dick for Hire. Look this.
Oh yeah.
So, which just to point out, Noah, in the middle, that is a Minotaur. So it's your sort of book.
Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Lies and slander.
Did you read? Oh, actually, Donna, was it you that mentioned the Were Turkey book? Was it you? Was it in your chat? Because Noah has picked that up to read
It looked funny.
as well.
It looks funny.
It looks like something. That's one word for it. Yes, I thought it was. There we go.
Because we were trying to figure out who.
I sent him the Minotaur book, which I can't remember what that was called. And then I mentioned that to him, so he has that downloaded to read if he has not already read it.
I've not read it yet. It's only 13 pages, so I'm excited.
You're excited? I mean, you've got 2 days.
I just need to
October.
understand. I just need to understand.
All of the important bits change. That's all you need to know.
It's a gobble turkey.
Gobble. I mean, the clue might be in that word in there. Play my Sims and highlights a lot. My husband's down in the basement. Yes. Another Sims player.
Yes, we like the Sims. Are you excited about Sims 5 where it's supposed to be multiplayer?
Sims 5 isn't coming out. Have we not seen?
Wait, what?
So instead, what they're doing is they're keeping Sims 4 as the base and going to DLC off that. So it looks like the multiplayer is going to be a downloadable content pack for a later date.
Then what about the multiplayer?
Yeah.
That everyone was excited.
That's the rumor. They don't really need to release a Sims 5 because all the competitor games that were life simulations have all been folded and gone away. So EA don't need to spend money on it anymore and just keep doing DLC packs. Because capitalism. Because there was a big one coming out from, I think it was Paradox. Can't think what it was called. That looked really good. And that's just been binned. Totally binned off. So, yeah, they're basically going to keep Sims 4 as... it wouldn't shock me if what they end up doing... This is what I think they'll do, is they will do a paid texture pack update to update the graphics for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the plan. It's not particularly surprising. I think it was only confirmed in the last week.
That's probably why I've not seen it then.
Yeah, I spend a bit more time around the gaming news than you do, I think.
Yeah, you do.
Although not as much as I used to be fair. So, yeah, there's a few games that seem to be doing that, where they're dropping the new versions and looking at extending on the older ones. Probably because they've just laid off all their development
stuff,
teams.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bad idea to do things like that. But there we go. That's the gaming industry for you. But I need to go back and play The Sims. I'm not...
I love The Sims.
Find...
I've modded mine.
I don't
We got
mod
guns and knives, and we literally like.
I
And there's
don't
zombie
mod-
apocalypse.
I don't mod mine at all. I very
Oh.
rarely mod games. We'll ignore City Skylines. Yeah, I believe the Grim Reaper week is incredibly buggy. As is a surprise to nobody. Yeah, I need to have a look to see because I keep finding the DLCs quite cheap. So I need to see if I can find what's the last one that I got? No. I need to find the For Rent pack cheap, actually. I could probably get it for a tenner if I look around. So that's the next one I need to get. But
I am gonna have to go soon because Milo just did a little bottom burp and it stinks.
fair enough. Well, I'm in work at 5.
Oh wow, you should be going to bed.
I should be asleep, but I have not slept properly in a week and a half. So I'm not holding out much hope.
Oh no.
But
not
yeah,
good.
I've not been on The Sims for ages. I've been playing Civ. I've played a lot of Civ this week.
I've been playing
With yourself.
yes, but also Star Trucker. And I've downloaded a
I
new game
saw
called
that.
Mouthwashing, and I want to stream that one.
What? What the hell is that?
It's a new horror game that's come out.
Oh, do you know what is coming out? Actually,
Me.
There's a new. darling, there isn't a closet big enough.
They're my earrings,
Why?
and I've got another one on here, but I couldn't wear it with my headset.
Why have you gone with black studs? They look like studs from here.
They're thingamabobs.
They're
And then I have
just-
this one, this little hoop in my top ear.
You're going to tear one of those out in work. Knowing what you like. Get it stuck on the baler walking past or something. What was I going to say? There's a new My Time In game coming out. So we got
Sunrock, whatever it is, yeah.
There's a new one coming out next year. It's on Kickstarter at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Called My Time in Evermeet, and the trailer looks so Zelda.
Really?
Yeah, it's got like
The
your
Legend of Zelda
glider,
games.
like your glider to move
Oh,
around.
from like
and
Breath of the
climbing
Wild.
up towers and stuff.
Okay, I'm
Don't know why I'm acting it out, but
I appreciate it.
I will try and find you thing. It's on Kickstarter at the moment, so
Oh, yeah.
I have Kickstarter backed it. I'm Kickstarter backing a lot this month, actually.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, there is if I run out of money. Touch Starved is out soon.
Oof,
as
yeah,
well.
December.
I'm so excited. I've had a newsletter today about it. So excited. Noah's a Dead by Daylight person, I think.
I am. I'm terrible at it.
Aren't you
I
playing
just
that with-
scream.
Aren't you playing that with Ben? He was on
No,
about playing Dead by
that's-
Daylight with you.
No, that's Daisy he's talking about. I'm terrible
Oh,
at that as
okay.
well. No,
I
Dead by
mean-
Daylight is where you get chased by the serial killer, but I literally just run and scream.
That's
Die.
you in any horror game.
It's me in any game, full stop.
We need to figure out Halloween stream.
Yes.
So because we cannot do the same as last year, because that was a disaster. Because that game did not have multiplayer, and I still haven't finished playing it yet.
Hmm.
Need to do that this month.
Yeah,
Need to finish the quarry.
you should.
I don't do multiplayer very often. I am allergic to multiplayer games.
Same. Same.
I mean, yes, you would be. You have you have a laundry list, let's leave it that way. But you're going to read the Were Turkey before today or tomorrow, yes? Because that way
Sure.
you've managed to get it into Smut Month then.
Joys.
And then I can look through my list for Smut Month and go, I've read a total of 1 smutty book. Yes, Smutella next month. That's another one. We seem to be doing, when we keep doing our themed months, we seem to be a month ahead of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So,
Bizarre.
but I mean, it's not. I mean, I thought you were doing a lot more extreme horror this month.
I've got
Yes.
some.
2?
I've got 2 extreme horror books.
You might do better. You might do better than last time when you just did extreme horror and it went.
Yeah.
badly. Also, are you continuing the Judith Sonnet book, the dinosaur one. Was it a dinosaur one?
Yeah,
was
what
it?
was it called? I need to do the second one.
Yes, and the spin-offs.
Oh,
Because there
no,
were spin-offs.
spin-offs. Yeah, there
I
was
sent you the
spin-offs.
spin-offs.
Yeah, I can't remember them.
But I will find out what it's called now for you. Because did you put that on your Goodreads?
I'm sure I did.
Okay. Well, I found Clown Hunt's one by them, which you're definitely going to be reading. I cannot wait. Wait for that. Let's have a look.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh my god, there's so many. Why is there so many? Oh.
Hey! Where is it? I've read by the same person. Don Juan Velociraptor. I've actually got the book.
Oh my god. Red Hot Allosaurus Summit.
That's yeah.
I'm aware. What's it called? Oh, there's another turkey one.
No, stop finding me books.
This one's called Gobbler Fuck Your Thanksgiving.
I know. I need to read. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe.
That's a Judith Sonnet book.
Oh.
Oh, why is there 3 pages of this shit? Right. We're reading Yuletide though at Christmas, just so you know.
We are.
Yes, because I've just seen it, so we're reading that at Christmas.
Great.
I can find worse. I have worse books.
No, we're good. We're good. Good.
I can't see it. This is annoying. Why can't I see it?
I think it's to draw us in, cat, so we can laugh at it.
I can't see the dinosaur book that you read. I don't know if I'm just being really blind.
I'll find them.
There's one called Tapeworm. Tapeworming. There we go.
Huh.
Unhinged. He's got Squeak to read, which he's forgotten about.
I did forget about that.
And then yeah, Unhinged is on the list. I have actually got written down the author names that were mentioned in your chat for all these books. So
just for me, you shouldn't have.
Yes, they are just for you. I'm not going to read them.
Oh, God damn it!
Again, the worst thing I read this month was Clotty's Song. Now, admittedly, that had a lot.
Yeah.
And it was 400 pages. Mating with Mallows.
What?
No, it's there. It's like, yes. That's my campfire read. But Noah didn't know. I don't know how. Noah didn't know that Monster Smut was a thing until
I
he
didn't.
read The Beast.
Beast by Yannicka Snow.
Which he then made me read.
Yeah, because I suffered. I wanted someone else to suffer with me.
And then I read the next one, and then Noah tried to read the third one was it in Discord or was it on a list?
Yeah, I did a reading in Discord to all the people in there. Unfortunately for them.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah, it was. Wait, we've got airpeen first of all, and then what happened to the marshmallow in my s'more? What?
I mean, I don't know if that's just a question or an actual book title. That's the thing. But I mean, you have a list anyway. You have a hell of a list of smutty books.
Thank you so much.
You do. You also don't put them on Goodreads because you don't want to be judged.
That's true.
Unlike me, who everything I read does actually go on Goodreads. Which is why the Chuck Tingle series is actually on there that I finished reading last week.
Okay.
So, can't remember if I gave it Did I give it a thing? I think I gave it a rating. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm still trying to figure out why you have sent me Friday the 69th.
Because I said I would on Twitter, and you said only if you buy it, and I did.
Yeah. I didn't think I was hoping you'd forget, to be honest.
No, I remembered.
Yeah, I know. And I've also got the Cinnamon Bookstore and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe to read as well.
Yeah.
Which actually I need to read that first one pretty soon because I've cancelled my Kindle Unlimited. So I need to get through that very quickly.
Halloween.
You've got to read that. You've got to read that. You've got to read that.
Oh.
There is so much sentient objects smut out there. I don't understand.
I don't know, but I think we should end it there.
Yes, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
We
Thank you
really
to
do appreciate it.
Thank you for not cancelling me, despite my best attempts again by saying all Americans are stupid because of the way they speak, which was not, which is not what I actually said, but it came out a bit like that. Is anything sacred? No, genuinely. Pushing Cushions is another one that Noah's reading soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is book 3 in that series.
Donna, we will have to have a talk about these books.
I mean, we have the not safe for work section in your Discord, and Donna is in there. So
That's true.
And Kat should really join Discord and join our Discord.
Yes.
Might keep it a little bit less chaotic. Although I've been quite quiet this week, so
You have been.
It's been relatively well behaved this week.
It has been.
We'll see how long that continues for.
You are.
Yes, I'm not. I don't have Instagram.
I do.
I know you do. You have everything.
Sorry.
You know, get around a bit. I didn't think you'd managed to fully set me up for that comment, and yet you didn't disappoint. Thank you. I'm not chaos.
Yes,
No.
you are.
No, I go in a straight line, and the chaos happens around me.
Oh, Donna.
I wouldn't know, because I am a sweet and innocent soul.
Lies and slander. Say goodbye then.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you're at.
Yeah, we appreciate you popping in. Thank you very much for the laughs.
Bye-bye.
Bye.